All right, Tanner, I was looking at my Switch the other day.
The Nintendo Switch.
The Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of checking my profile, seeing what was up. And then what it does, it shows you the stats on how long you've been playing.
Hours
timed. Yeah. My kids have played 53 hours, or 53 days.
Okay.
53 days of Fortnite.
Okay, I was going to say 53 hours is rookie sauce.
Yeah, rookie sauce. Yeah. No, 53 days.
53 days is that's
like
good.
1,200 and change. So I'm officially a bad parent.
Well, are they good at Fortnite?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Oh, well then, if they're not good, then yeah, you're a terrible parent.
Then I don't know. They always seem to be yelling about something.
Okay. Yeah, that's what kids do nowadays.
If you had kids, would you rather let your kids play 53 days of Fortnite or watch one episode of The Big Bang Theory?
I hate Fortnite, but fine, let them do the fucking dance.
Right.
Welcome to Radical Apathy, the podcast where two half-wits set out to solve all the world's problems with pop culture references and a lackadaisical attitude. Why not? It's worked so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Radical Apathy Podcast.
Radical Apathy Podcast. My name is Tanner.
I am Corbin.
Hello, Corbin.
Hi, what's up?
Well, not much. What's up with you?
You know what? I'm feeling like $1 million today.
$1 million?
Yeah, I slept in.
Yeah.
I haven't had nothing to eat today.
Nothing to eat.
No. And my kids aren't home.
Oh, so that's probably what's getting you over the $1 million.
Today's a winning day so far.
I'm like a solid 1.3
Why? What's going on with you?
million.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What did you do?
I'm just a little bit better than you.
Listen, I want you to take a look around you, Tanner.
Okay, hold on.
Into the room we're in. I want you to take a good, hard look at this fucking room.
Okay.
So I have been playing...
Hold on, I'm not done.
Oh, sorry, what?
Hold on. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, you're still looking.
You said hard look?
Okay, yeah, take a hard look.
Okay, hold on. I got to look up now. Okay.
At the chaos that you see around you.
I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things around. Shall I describe it?
No, I'm going to tell you right now, 90% of the stuff here is a direct responsibility of the person sitting next to us today.
Oh, does that mean someone's here with us today?
Yes, we've got a guest today. I played tabletops for about 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay? Tabletop gaming.
About 4 to 7 of them. I didn't do too many, but about 4 to 7 of them. The guest we have today is he was the gateway drug.
He was your first dealer.
Stuff.
First one is free.
And I know he's looking around at this stuff. He's like, "Yep, I got that. I got that."
He's pointing things out.
Was number one, right?
That Dominion was.
He's
number
pointing
one.
out your first weed.
No, just to the little guys standing there.
No. Actually, Dominion was first.
Oh, but this was the one that we were really into, though.
That was there's so much.
Right.
What you don't see is in the what's that called? Pluck foam. That's all the X-Wing stuff. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I think the audience is excited what you're pointing at.
Yeah,
so we're lucky for our listeners because today we have the guy who got me into tabletop gaming. His name is Kyle.
Hello, Kyle. Welcome, Kyle.
Hello.
Hi,
how are you?
Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing good, actually. I was going to say I'm not quite the 1.3, but certainly one and like a little bit.
Still better than Corbin.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Because you mentioned why, and my why is that I sleep like all the time. It's like my favorite hobby.
That's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, you notice how some people always be like, you sleep a third of your life and it's wasted. I'm like, that's fantastic. Sign me up for the sleep days because that sounds great to me.
Here's the weird thing, okay? Like I want to sleep more and then I sleep more. Yeah. And I find when I sleep more, I'm more tired. But when I go to sleep at midnight and I wake up at 7 or 1 and I wake up at 7, I feel 1,000 times better.
That is the best sleep.
Yeah, which is weird.
I mean, I think that's but is it weird or is it the normal biological thing?
I think you're onto something because for me it was the post shift work thing. Guess what my bedtime is? 9.
You go to bed at 9?
9.
Oh,
and that's pushing it. Like at 9 o'clock, I'm like, yep, okay, whatever's happening, book down, TV off, games off. It's bedtime, baby.
And what time do you sleep till?
I sleep till about 6:37.
Jeez.
I told you. That's what
There's too many sports that are on that I can't miss at 9 o'clock.
That's probably true.
I gotta watch all the sports stuff.
I'm shutting it all down.
Radical Apathy is not actually a sleep podcast. This is a conversational comedy podcast, fortnightly that we do. And Corbin.
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's a little spooky in here.
Feels spooky.
Was it a little spooky spooks?
It is. I was scared when I walked in.
This is our official Halloween episode.
Oh, spooky Halloweens and sleep apparently. Spooky sleep Halloweens. You're gonna miss a third of your life, which is spooky.
That's the thing. Look at all of us sitting here.
Yeah.
More than a third is already over.
Oh, I don't like that.
No, I didn't like it either.
I don't like that
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like,
that made it real. Kyle, I don't
too
know.
scary.
God.
Too spooky for me.
Yeah, okay. Let's roll back the spooks a little bit.
Yeah. So we got a whole section today. I'll tell you what we're going through today.
Lay it out for us,
Let the
Corbin.
kids. Okay.
Yeah.
What you watching? What you playing? Instead of general gripes, we got spooky stuff today.
Spooky gripes.
Spooky gripes today. We got our obvious top 5. Tanner's doing one for us today.
5.
We've got a new guest, Kyle, and we're going to go all over his gaming history.
Tabletop master.
Tabletop master.
We brought
Kyle
in specific experts on like Dungeons and Dragons or things like that, but this is the tabletop gaming master.
Listen, I got stories about this guy.
I'm ready to hear it.
All right.
I think we're excited for
We
it.
got a great game of Best is Best today.
Oh, just a sexy best is best.
And then we got some homework today.
And we got some homework to review.
And review and to assign.
Yeah.
All right.
What a great day.
Excited. Yeah.
Sounds fun.
What a great day to do it. Okay, Game Master.
Sure.
That's you, right?
Yeah.
How long? We're going to get into the deep of it, but just to give some people, before you start talking,
Give us an overview.
Give us a very light overview so people know
what we're
the
dealing
words
with.
you're talking about.
So tabletop gaming stuff. When Corbin mentioned that I had got him into it, that was right. We were working together, and we just started into like the Hero Clicks. I see Battlestar Galactica, which is one of my favorite. I love that game.
That was a great
What is it that you're pointing at?
how many hours of Arkham Horror did we play?
Oh my God, so many hours.
How many hours did we do setting up Arkham Horror?
Right, only to lose on turn 2. Yeah, that's a lot of that. So
just to confirm, you're saying Arkham Horror?
Arkham Horror.
Not Arkham Horror.
Horror.
Two different games.
Horror or yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like the board games. I've had a long history of tabletop gaming. I started Dungeons & Dragons when I was 8. My buddy's older brother got us into it, and so been doing like the Dungeons & Dragons, do the tabletop games. Right now I have 4 tabletop war games on the go. Bolt Action, which is a World War II one. I'm playing one called Infinity, which is like a sort of a sci-fi top-down one. I've got a boats one. I got all kinds of stuff going on. So
boats.
Yeah, boats. So we go into a friend's garage with a whole bunch of guys every kind of Tuesday, Friday.
We know this friend.
You knew that?
we do know
Professor
this friend.
Brent.
He was one of our guests.
One of our guests, Professor Brent.
Professor Brent.
Yeah.
And so I go to Professor Brent's garage once or twice a week with about 6 to 10 other guys. It's our third place, and we play games there. Yeah, but it's pretty good. So do that. Yeah. Do a lot of the Dungeons & Dragons, which I know you're a big fan of there.
Well, you know. I've dabbled.
I've dabbled. So yeah, that's and I'm not shy about it. I'd love to enthuse about the games that I'm playing and get you involved.
So you have expertise. We're not just pulling a random off the road.
This is the guy who knows this. Because here's the thing. Not only does he play the stuff, he always wins. And hold on, he always wins the stuff.
Oh, so you lose to him constantly.
I lose. Listen, nobody has lost to this guy more than me, probably.
So there was.
And I've got a story about that later.
Yeah, I was going to say there was another guy. The same thing. It was actually about X-wing. That it turned out that I was his Baba Yaga of X-wing, and I didn't even know.
The must overcome.
Yeah, and so
you're the reason someone wakes up in the morning and is angry.
Was that Dave?
No, it's not Dave. It was Colton. Used to live here.
Oh,
yes, Colton. You remember Colton? Yeah. So we were having a discussion over beers one night about X-wing, and I was like, "Yeah, I liked it. It was fine."
Is he back?
No, it was just this was a couple of years ago, and he was I was saying, X-wing, it was all right. I was never that into it, and he was pissed. He was like, "What do you mean you were never that into it?" And I was like, "He's like, yeah." He goes, "Do you know I've never?
I hated you."
He was like, "Do you know I've never beaten you at X-wing?" And I was like, "That can't be true." And we were having this conversation. Oh shoot! The whole time I was your nightmare opponent.
You know how?
I didn't even know.
You know how you're someone's reason to masturbate.
Yeah.
You're someone's reason to hate or bait.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was hoping I could picture him jerking it and just
angry
fucking the whole time.
Well, that's exciting. We get into a little bit of right out of the gates of I want to know what you're playing, Corbin.
Okay, so
because I'm feeling it's something new and exciting. It's not the third episode in a row.
We're doing what you watch, what you playing. So what are you watching?
Okay.
What are you playing? We're generally talking video games in this part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yeah, I want you to start.
Okay, so what I'm watching, and Kyle can jump in. So I've talked about it last week.
Yes, Kyle, you can talk at any point in time.
Kyle's the one who got me into this.
See?
And the final episodes dropped today.
I know the last two. That's why I couldn't watch the third to last one. one because of the way they do the cliffhangers.
Is this the Golden Girls change?
No, this is the culinary class. So Kyle,
is this the spoons again?
The spoons.
I don't think we are going to get monetized for all the spoon talk again.
So I got to bring you up to speed on the spoons. So I tried to explain it to the guests and Tanner last week about the show.
Right.
And I'm like, so you got the white spoons, and they get to stand up higher. But
they get names?
But the black the black spoons don't even have names. No. I'm like, this is the most racist show I've ever watched.
Oh, it's so good, though.
Yeah, it is so good. So I'm watching the Culinary Class Wars tonight, but then again, I've got about 4 horror movies lined up that I'm going to watch tonight. Tonight.
Banging them out.
I'm banging them out.
Okay.
So Oddity. These are most indie ones. It's called Oddity, Strange Darling, Blink Twice, and I forget the 4th one.
Okay.
Oh, and I still got to finish Terrifier 1 because I started it. And I hate it so much. I got some Terrifier talk today.
Kyle, what are you watching?
So I am watching The Spoons, the Culinary Class Wars. I'm also watching Bad Monkey on...
Sorry, just to back it up. It's called Class Wars.
Culinary Class Wars.
So it is called Class Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they've got 2 classes.
It's very much a racist
The white
show.
class and the... I don't understand what you're going to understand. The white class and the black class. And one is better than the other. I don't know what the...
What's your problem?
You're right. Sorry.
So I will make a point of this, and this is... this may not be a spooky gripe, but I could put this into gripes.
Everything goes into gripes today, and that's cool.
And that's cool. Okay, so we're gonna have some related gripes around this, but it is a South Korean cooking reality show, and it's just so good. So I'm liking that.
The budget on this thing is insanity.
So I'm watching that. I'm watching some stuff on Apple. I know you guys have done before. You're like, what's your top tier like streaming service is?
Yeah.
For me, it's Apple. It begins and ends with Apple.
Apple's got some good stuff on there.
You know what? No big hitters. Like you're not going to have your Stranger Things. You're not going to have your The Boyses. But everything they've got, I think, is just bang on. Everything I love is on that service.
You know what? Things that I like on Apple TV Plus, After Party.
Mm-hmm. No, which you turned me on to, and that was fabulous.
Right. Fantastic. 2 seasons of After Party. Really love Silo.
Yes.
I'm so excited for the second season of Silo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Slow Horses.
That's the other one. I love that show.
And then there was one more. But I liked Defending Jacob as well, which was a really good one.
I watched one called Sugar. Did you watch Sugar?
I didn't watch Sugar, no.
Sugar was pretty good.
That's with Colin Farrell.
It's called with Colin Farrell with no makeup.
What?
The actual real... Well,
he's surprisingly old to look at.
He's good at that show. If you haven't checked it out, I would recommend you do it. But don't read a single thing about it.
Okay.
Because that's what somebody said. Like,
just
watch
go in
it.
blind.
Go in blind. If you go in blind, it's really, really good. So that's my patented...
Okay.
What are you watching?
I'm a little bit behind. Well, actually, for Corbin, I rewatched Mission Impossible Fallout.
It's so good.
Great movie.
I know.
I probably hadn't seen it since the theater, and I rewatched it at home because I had a little upset tum-tum.
Yeah.
So I watched it again, and it was pretty fucking entertaining. Mission Impossible.
The Mission Impossible.
How is he still hitting bangers? I don't get it.
Tom Cruise only makes good movies.
How is he hitting bangers still?
And you know what you're going to get, too. That's the thing that I like about a Mission Impossible. You know what you got going in, and you get it, and you're like...
And it's usually better than what I think.
Right, and I'll have some more of that. Put it in there. So good.
Cavill's a stud, too. I'm a big Henry Cavill fan.
We're 7 movies in, and I almost think Dead Reckoning was the best one.
Which I still haven't seen.
Oh, sensational.
I can't find it on the street.
Sensational entry into the... I can't wait for the 8th one. I'm so pumped.
This is part 1, part 2.
That's what they said originally. They might be swaying away from that, but it definitely is.
So I watched that, just for you know. I again, a little bit behind the 8 ball on this one. I finished watching Arcane on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Is it League of Legends?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that 2 seasons, right?
Second season's coming out in November.
Oh, okay.
First season's been out for a year or 2.
Do I need to know anything about League of Legends?
No, not at all.
No. And I put 500-ish hours into League of Legends a couple of years ago. I mean, I hit that plateau, which is like, do I stop now or do I put 1,000 more hours into it?
I'm about to cross a line, which is going to take. I'm going to become a different person.
Right. Where you're like, you take a hard look in the mirror and you're like, am I a League of Legends guy?
Like with any,
I want to be defined
with any hobby. I'm about to cross the line where now I become that hobby.
Right.
I'm that hobby now.
So I bumped up against 500 hours and I stood back. I was like, no, I'm not a League of Legends guy.
Don't know anything about
500 hours. I'm out.
But
I'm out of the contest.
And I was just thinking about getting good. That was the part where I was like, should I try and get good or
now I can play the game. It is a great art style.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful story for 8-9 episodes.
Yeah.
Acting's top tier. It's almost Game of Thrones political-esque stylings. of writing.
Yeah.
Honestly, and so it's really good. Corbin, you'll love it. I promise.
All right.
Really good. Finished it. Big fan. And that's what I watched.
All right. What I'm playing.
Ooh.
I am starting. So, I'm still.
You're not allowed to say.
Okay, I'm still playing Hades.
Yeah, okay, moving on.
Like,
yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
But,
podcast for the podcast.
Tonight, I mentioned it last week. Tonight is the official start date. I am starting Persona 5 Royal.
Hey, here we go.
I'm going to finish this game.
I'm going to throw a wrench in that for you when it comes to my turn. But go ahead.
You're going to what?
I'm going to throw a wrench in that for you when it comes to my turn.
Is the wrench on Friday?
Yeah.
We got. I think now Tanner and I are both doing something all day on Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so what else?
Okay, that's
Persona
it.
5.
Persona-
Exciting.
that's it.
Joker.
I'm very excited.
The Phantom Thieves.
The soundtrack from I played just the little beginning of it. The soundtrack is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The art style is insanity.
Oh, it's so good.
And it runs flawlessly on the Switch, which I'm very happy about.
This is my true self.
Which in and of itself, it's a great game. It just a side note.
So I got a text message from Kyle last night at 9:30 after your bedtime. Mm-hmm. You just finished some hardcore gaming.
Yes.
What was it?
Because I was playing the first game of Bolt Action on the tabletop. The
V3.
Yeah, so that's what I was. It's V3 came out.
Okay.
And I was at Professor Brent playing against Professor Brent, and we were so.
Is he good at tabletop games?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
he's good.
Smart dude, knows a lot.
Yeah.
Nice guy. But I've never seen him in action.
Makes terrain like crazy.
Yes, we've seen that.
Yeah,
yes.
He does that. He does have a kick-ass garage.
So if you want to know what I'm playing,
We've been in that garage.
You've been in that garage. It's good.
Yeah.
So for video games, what I'm playing is right now I'm doing a redo of Alan Wake 2.
Yes.
Great game.
Because it's got the New Game Plus.
Yes.
Probably the best New Game Plus, I think.
Tell me why. I love New Game Plus.
So have you played Alan Wake 2?
I have not.
Have you played Alan Wake 1?
No.
No.
They slipped through the cracks.
So Alan Wake 2, great.
Spoilers?
So
No?
I'll give you a little bit. So
I'll forget.
A little bit. You'll forget. So the very end of the game, he says a line, which is that it's not a loop, it's a spiral. Because the idea is that he's stuck in a loop. But he realized at the end that it's not a loop, it's a spiral. Every time he goes through the loop, he goes up a little bit. So the first time you play is the second to last loop. If you go New Game Plus, it's the final loop, and the ending is different, and there's little bits that are different, and then the end is different.
Yeah. The story lays it out very sexually.
And so, talk about a New Game Plus fits in. It's like, yes, this is the New Game Plus because you go through the loop the last time, and I was like, yes, please, I'll have some of that.
Oh, I like New Game
They
Plus.
changed just enough that you notice it and makes you want to continue on. They do it very well.
You do the meme thing where you're pointing.
Yeah, I love Remedy games.
Oh, me too.
I love their weird finish writing,
Control.
and I love all the way from Max Payne up to the Control. Yeah, it was great.
So the new DLC's coming out, so I'm trying to get through the last loop again so I can play the new DLC. And then on Friday, do you want to say the name? Because the name of what we're going to play on Friday is so fun.
Yeah, ready? We'll say it at the same time.
Okay,
hold on. I'm going to make sure I say it right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Metaphor Refantazio.
Metaphor
Yes.
Refantazio.
Atlas was coming out with a new game this Friday.
Yes, and that is the game that comes out on Friday.
I played the demo.
Apparently, it's a big ass demo.
It's a big ass demo. I put 7 hours into the demo, and then I finished it on Tuesday and was like, "So this comes out Friday."
So this is going to be one of mine. But
the
go
demo
ahead and
not
talk
carry
about
over into your
It
game?
does,
Okay,
but then
good.
I had to just look at it and
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this book. You go ahead and tell us about Metaphor and Refantazio. What it's about.
Metaphor Refantazio is by the Persona guys.
Yeah, Atlas.
And so Atlas, and I love Persona 5. I put more than 110 hours into Persona 5.
Shimigami. Persona series,
so good,
top notch
stuff. Funny coming. I think you were the Xbox guy, so I'm surprised that you know about.
I'm happy to wear the mantle as Xbox guy.
Just around town,
thrust
that's what I've heard.
upon me, but I've owned every console for like 20 years.
You ask people around town. That's what I hear. Tanner, they're like Tanner,
Xbox.
Tanner, the Xbox guy.
I think he's the Xbox guy.
I know.
say that all the
Sure.
time.
I mean, I'll wear it, but yeah.
So anyway, loved that, and so they're coming out with a new game in a fantasy setting. So we're going to leave the traumatized teenagers behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Angsty teens.
And we're going into an incredibly racist fantasy parable.
Is it called Culinary Class Wars?
No. I think if they had Class Wars, it would be
It's probably written by the same fucking person.
Maybe, but yeah. There's like it's a fantasy world. There's like 7 or 9 tribes or something, and there's 2 that are really in power, and a whole bunch that are really not. And so it's kind of more of a political drama played out in the game.
Yeah.
And
Very Game of Thrones-esque almost.
very, and it's got all that punchy stuff that from Persona 5. The soundtrack is a little less good because it's fantasy, but like just the menus and the actions and the way that it plays, I put 7 hours into it and I was like, this is going to be amazing.
Oh, that's sweet.
You're
And that's
doing
on all
relationships, your
consoles,
bonds.
or
Yeah, I think
PlayStation and PC.
Yeah,
I don't
I don't know if
it's on Xbox because all the Persona series are on Xbox. But I don't.
Are they?
I
didn't know.
Yeah, they are now. But I don't know if this one's coming. It might be one of those delay ones. They come out on PS5 first and then delay out. But yeah, I wrote that down. Very excited for that one. Also wanted to talk on to bring it back to spooky because it's Halloween time. Yep. Spooky Silent Hills 2 comes out today as of recording.
Oh yeah,
the remake. Yes,
comes out today.
So history with Silent Hill 2. Either of you?
I played it a little bit when I was younger, and then I put it down.
Oh God!
So I'm going, which is good. It's a good thing because I'm going in blind.
Oh
mostly.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Then.
Yeah.
I took my friend's PlayStation from his house to my house, and I just to play Silent Hill 2.
Oh, I read a review of this new remake. And they said this is the most angst-filled, depressing, grief thing ever, and it was glorious. He said, he said the music, the atmosphere, it's imposing on you, and it's not fun in a general sense.
Which surprises me because when I heard that it was Bloober team,
it's Bloober doing it.
Bloober, which I was like, first of all. Okay. Bloober team. Like their past stuff I was not really that thrilled with. And so, but the fact that I saw the good reviews for this, I was like, oh, maybe.
Mm-hmm. You didn't like Layers of Fear, eh?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a horror game guy anyway, like a little bit, but like Silent Hill 2 was one of my favorites. But beyond that, and I like Alan Wake is a little scary. I mean, you get the
especially
spooks.
Alan Wake 2's been.
Yeah. You get the spooks in that, but it's kind of, you need a certain flavor.
You're not the Resident Evil guy?
I liked him, I guess. I do remember sort of Resident Evil 2 being really good, like everybody else.
The remake is excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played the remake. See, that's the thing.
The
remake's for all of them.
The remake you probably can get on with your free pass now on stuff, and it's
2, 4, Code Veronica is about to come out on remake.
2, 4, 7, 8 are amazing.
Yeah, they're all great. They're all bangers.
Remakes, and then 7 and 8, amazing.
I did play a little bit of 4, I remember.
4 remake?
Yeah.
4 original?
I think 4 original. And I never did the Lady Demiscu stuff. I didn't go into the...
That's 8.
That's 8, yeah. I didn't,
It's fun, though. I liked it.
Yeah,
I copied a Reddit review of Silent Hills 2, which is currently sitting at 87% of Metacritic, 69 professional reviews.
That's
nice.
really good.
So Z3Mog wrote, and I just like how they wrote it because they get into more like the moment-to-moment gameplay. Because I'm a firm believer that gameplay is king, and it doesn't matter how good the story or flashy or songs are of the game. If the gameplay sucks, no one's going to fucking play it.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
I've heard there's control.
You're right.
With Red Dead.
You're right. Everyone hates that game, Corbin. You're right. The true star of gameplay is the exploration loop, checking doors and watching your map get marked off as you check off, solve puzzles, and open locks. It was always what made early Silent Hill games so addicting to play, and it's even better here. It's great how James will pull out the map out of his pocket and mark on it when there's something important to note as a visual cue that you should open the map and look at it as a player.
That's what made the Resident Evil remakes as good as well. They fixed that.
They do that cue pops, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Walking a red, the character will turn his head and look at a point of interest, which kind of helps you guide along. There's no big flashing markers to donate where to go, no yellow line that takes you out of the gameplay. It's much more visual and follow about for gaming, which I like that people are going into that nowadays.
Going back to the
Ghost of
old school.
Tsushima, you press the button and then like a gust of wind will blow grass around you, and that's where you're supposed to go. But there's no big arrow over your head. Because I find that really takes you out of the immersion of the game. So I like that they're doing that. They're not doing the yellow paint thing. But yeah, everything of Silent Hill, even the original, it's all setting. Right? It's the fog, it's the town, it's the
static, the hiss,
claustrophobia.
So this game is going to sound ridiculous on my system behind me.
It's going to sound very nice.
It's like...
Well, especially, and this is not a spoiler, but to me, the thing that always stood out to me at Silent Hill 2 is that there's a radio that you get very early, like I'm talking first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And the closer monsters get to you, the louder the static in the radio. And so you can be in the fog and you don't see anything, but you hear that.
Just hear that thing.
And it's getting louder and you're like, like I got shivers just remembering how that felt playing that game.
They feed cue sound. I mean, there's the air horn, right? They feed cued sound in Silent Hill so well. That like way better than Resident Evil.
Oh God!
So let me ask you this about Resident Evil or Silent Hill. Did Silent Hill 1 suck then? Why? And same with Alan Wake 1. Like, why are we getting remakes of Part 2?
So when it comes to Silent Hill, the one thing, because I remember 1 as well. It's just Silent Hill 2. It does some of the same stuff, different story, different person. same town. It just does everything better.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you go back to the original, which is like, here's this game, only worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, and Alan Wake 2 is different than the original Alan Wake was quite a few years ago. Different technology, different stuff.
Yeah.
But the continuation of the story, like you were talking about the Remedyverse.
Yeah.
I'm all in on the Connect.
Yeah, whoever the writing team they have at Remedy is just chef's kiss, delightful.
Sam Lake. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love the Sam Lakes and everything.
Having a great time. Yes,
Yeah.
All right, so it's time now for not spooky gripe. Well, it's not spooky. It's spooky. We're not doing general gripes.
We're
doing spooky gripes. Spooky gripes. And Tanner, people have already heard you remixed our theme music for this.
If they hear something on there, it's spooky music now.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Because first off, I want to say I appreciate you doing that. 'Cause that's really cool. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. No, but it's not really spooky. It's made me feel good about myself now. So.
Oh, that's the opposite.
Speaking of which, cozy horror.
Cozy
segue.
Cozy.
Is this back to Arkham Horror? Cozy horror.
A cozy horror.
That's very upsetting.
So I've been seeing this, and I wanted to come. Are you a horror person?
Horror?
Like, do you horror? Are you a horror? Do you like watching horror movies and television shows?
So I've got a bit of a yes asterisk that I have to be in like a really particular mood. Although I know a lot about the genre. I mean, any time spent hanging around with Corbin, you kind of
comes across
by osmosis. You kind of get that stuff.
Yep.
But I have to be in a particular mood. Although I'm interested in genres and all kinds of storytelling stuff. Anywho, so if you want to talk about like different ways that horror makes her go, then
I wanted to see what your guys' opinion on this, because I've been seeing now, as someone who does not watch horror movies because they're far too scary. I've noticed this recently on the internets of people complaining and having their own spooky gripes about cozy horror, where whether it's a book, a television show, a movie, where you're feeling good after it. So like the scary thing happens, but it always ends in we beat it, or we succeeded, or it always ends with a happy ending and a soft touch compared. And then the real horror heads are like, "That's not real horror. You got blood and guts, and you got to die." So, what is your opinion on that? Do you guys find that's a thing?
You go first. Here's the thing. There's some movies like there's a movie called Eden Lake, and so to give you, it's a horror movie, but then it's one of those movies that ends just on the worst note possible. Like, long story short, because nobody cares watching Eden Lake. No. So they go out to vacation at a lake, Michael Fassbender and this other lady, and then some just local kids start terrorizing them and start trying to chase them, torture them down. Anyway, she ends up surviving, killing one of the kids. She gets out away from that location. It's at the very end of the movie. She gets to this house, and these people are, "Oh my God, come in, we'll help you, absolutely." And then one of those kids comes home, and that's his family.
Oh yeah.
And then it's basically like one of the doors shuts as she's screaming endings, and you're just like, "Oh God!" Oh no! It's like, that hurt.
Yeah.
And so there's two different things, because like, remember I talked about Monster Squad last week with my son, and he Frankenstein turned on Dracula, and he cheered, and he left uplifted, and I told you he hasn't come into my room since. So he was like, "Okay, monsters are good. I can handle this." Yeah. And so there was a positive effect on that. If you watch something with an ending that was super down, generally you're not going to come back to it.
So have you guys noticed, has there been an increase in cozy horror, and is that okay?
It's interesting, because this part that you're talking about, that's what almost makes it horror to me, is not necessarily the spooks or the blood or the guts. It's the sort of that idea of there's no winning. Yeah. Right. And so the cozy horror, I'm feeling complicated. I don't know. I get the idea of an uplifting thing, but to me, it would almost take away from it being...
Well, it depends what genre, too, because it's not just horror, it's subgenre, right? Because if you got a final girl, you want the final girl to survive.
Right.
That's an uplifting thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So some need it. Some movies need it and need a punch in the gut before you leave.
Do you have an example of anything that's come out for cozy horror? Like, I'd be hard-pressed to put a pin in something.
Yeah, they talked about it. I just assumed Corbin would know more about this.
I didn't know we were done talking. Sorry, I didn't realize this was the end of the podcast.
Let me pull up. Keep talking.
Speaking of that horror stuff, and you might appreciate this a little bit here, Tanner, is that one of the other things that going back briefly to gaming, but not video gaming, is that in October I typically run spooky like Dungeons & Dragons games.
Okay.
Where I run different stuff. So I've been running Mothership, which is a tabletop role playing Dungeons & Dragons adjacent, different rule set, but same idea.
Yeah.
So think Alien, think Event Horizon, that's the kind of stuff, future horror. And so their tagline is survive, solve the mystery, save the day, pick 2.
Save the cheerleader.
Oh.
Pick 2.
Oh, pick 2. I like that.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. And so to me, that's horror, right? It's okay, here's your options. You're going to survive, you're going to figure out what's going on, or you're going to save everybody, but not all 3. Yeah. And that to me really speaks to horror. So if you get everything you want at the end of the day, it's less scary.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Really quick off the cuff segue for that.
Sure.
I'm as a GM for other D&T table games, I find something I like to do now when I bring a new group in to start a game.
Yeah.
And whether it's going to be a Ravenloft or a space horror or a Star Wars RPG or whatever it is, I'm almost finding it's easier at the character creation thing to give them a picture board or an emotion board. So I can send them a board of pictures of like, okay, this is gonna be like a serious one. So like, Wesley Snipes with a gun and crying, or like you put on pictures and say, guys, this is the themes in picture form of the campaign of what I'm thinking of. Build your character thusly. So instead of just having a bunch of fucking flying,
look at my face.
I see your face.
That's genius.
Yeah. So I find you get more kickback by people. So when you're doing like more horror ones, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm Happy the Frog and I'm slapping around the spaceship," you're like, "Yeah, okay, it's fine."
Be like this.
Be like, no, this is where you're going to be. So then you have a lot more Ellen Ripleys instead of
your slapping the frogs. Actually, it's funny. I just started a game, a Dungeons & Dragons game, with your favorite musical director. Winita is playing.
Oh, she's playing?
Yeah, I got a women's game going. So it's my wife, Winita, one of her friends, a girl that we play.
How come we weren't invited to come to the women's game?
Yeah.
Lacking the parts.
I can play a lady. Yeah. Anyway,
that's true. You can play.
So a mood board would have been, we're doing Strixhaven, which is like a magical university.
Yes.
But
I found
such a good idea.
It kicks people into the gear.
I'm stealing that.
Sorry, please do.
Yeah.
Cozy horror.
Cozy horror. Yeah.
Back to you.
Something of cozy horror, and that's not something
because I know cozy mysteries. I've been hearing that's been a thing.
So I'm reading off this website.
Give me a first example of cozy horror.
The Changeling, 1980 Canadian horror film.
As cozy?
That's what they said. This one keeps showing The Mist and like the remake, but that one doesn't feel cozy at all.
The Mist is not.
Like to me, that feels the opposite.
That's one of the opposites because he kills his
family.
Here.
These ones will terrify and comfort you. Okay, so there's a lot of books on here.
Yeah.
So a lot of books. Let's see if there's a cozy. Okay, coziest horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
For Halloween.
Oh.
Okay, so maybe I'm misunderstanding because they just have Halloween on here.
I just want to
Misery. They have Misery on here.
Oh, that makes me want to cuddle.
I think they don't understand what.
I don't think they understand what it is. Am I misunderstanding what cozy horror is?
Like folk horror, I get, which is like the villages. You're the one with the bees, not the bees. That's the bees.
The bees.
That's folk horror, right? Where you got weirdos that live in the woods.
Yeah,
and but cozy, no,
it doesn't feel. Okay, Child's Play.
Oh, he's a doll, I guess.
The Craft.
The Craft.
Oh, I haven't thought
Misery again. Why? I wouldn't say Misery is fucking cozy horror.
I don't understand the definition
and
of
Halloween.
Cozy horror.
I don't think from the. I've looked at 3 websites and they've all had Halloween and Misery on it. I don't think I understand what cozy horror is.
Yeah, Halloween, the bad guy gets away. I don't see, and he's still out there. I don't see how that's a cozy.
Misery just sucks altogether. So I think I'm just misunderstanding what cozy horror means. So you know what? I take back. I mean, it's a good conversation, but none of us. You know what? Just like yours, we're alive, and we solved the world, but we don't understand.
Yeah, we didn't
get to understand what happened.
So let me ask you this: you go back to when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is the movie that stuck with you, that scared you the most?
Aliens.
Alien.
Sorry.
Alien. Yeah.
Because my father made me watch it when I was very young, and that has stuck with me for a long time.
Nope.
That was it.
That was it?
That's it?
I was
you got nothing else to say?
That was it.
I've got 2.
Go.
One that stuck with me bad, one that stuck with me good.
Okay.
So stuck with me good we'll start with, which is the original The Thing. Like I saw that too early, but it stuck with me as being amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my started my lifelong crush on Kurt Russell. That I love everything he's in.
Get in.
Yeah, everything he's in. Yeah. I watched Monarch: Legacy of Monsters because he was in it.
Kurt Russell's in it.
It was good too.
Yeah.
Stuck with me bad. I had a sleepover when I was maybe 8, sleepover birthday party. The original Friday the 13th. Not good. And I still.
What was the most spooky? What's the one moment in the movie that sticks to your mind when you think about it?
So I can still
spear through the neck,
right? I can still. Or there was one. I can't remember with the bathtub and the drain. She's in the shower or something like that. That there's blood running in the drain, and that not have nightmares, but I can still remember vividly being like, "Oh, I should not be watching this."
For me, a couple things: the TV movie It.
The
two night event,
the two back and forth.
That got me good.
That's a good cut, too.
Fire in the Sky. That one scared me as a kid.
Okay.
I was young.
Yeah.
The aliens doing their thing with the things.
You're scared of aliens then, is what we're telling.
No, not at all. But that movie
is like
the movies.
90 minutes of nothing and 10 minutes of pure.
You're like, what the fuck? As a kid. Anyway, sorry. It television show?
Oh, It, the 2-part television show got me. Jaws obviously got me.
Oh, yeah.
It stuck with me. I still won't swim in the ocean. And what's another one that got me? Actually, not scary, but got me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was Halloween, 1985. Mm-hmm. And the library ghost from Ghostbusters got me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh, my God. The first ever jump scare.
Yeah.
The ghosts in Ghostbuster were scary. Like, they had a background almost to them.
I was at a neighbor's house. That happened, and I saw that part happened, and I got up and I ran back to my house. And that was the end of Halloween for me. There was this other one. So I was dating this girl. It was the last day of grade 9.
Prove it.
And she was from Canada. You don't know her.
And me and her, and then all the other boyfriends and girlfriends in our class, we went to this other girl's house. And they said, "Let's watch The Exorcist." And then after and we were Catholic school, okay. And then after The Exorcist, it was our last day of Catholic school. And then after The Exorcist, one of them had the balls to go, "Let's play Ouija board after this."
Oh my God!
Like, fuck no, I'm not playing Ouija board. That stuck with me.
Nothing gets teens hotter than speaking to the dead.
I was gonna. The worst part is that you all hear a movie and like I always want to just spit a quote out. And so I was almost going to do with the Catholic school Linda Blair quote. I opened my mouth to do it. I was like, you know what? Maybe that might be just a hair over.
No, there's no such thing as over on that.
We don't have a lot of over on the show.
I was going to say, you're in Catholic school going, your mother sucks cocks in it. So I've got a funny Ouija board story that. So we did this because teens love to Ouija board, Catholic school or not. And in Fernie, we went through a goth phase. Me and my buddies who wanted to do the Ouija board stuff, and so we had this group of girls we were hanging out with, and they were like, "Yeah, let's go do Ouija board in the graveyard," like full on. And so my buddy Brendan and I, that I grew up with, I was like, "We're gonna do a prank on these guys." And so we go, and we're all walking into the graveyard, and the graveyard in Fernie's big, and it's kind of creepy. Fernie's where I'm from, and a bunch of streetlights, and my buddy Brendan slips away, and then we're looking around, like, "Where'd he go?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm gonna go try and find him." And so I disappear into the dark, and they start setting up their Ouija board stuff. And at the top of the hill, there was a spotlight. And I walked out and I'm looking down. And they're like, "You see him?" I'm like, "No." And he comes out of the dark in a cloak, like a Halloween costume, grabbed me and pulled me into the dark. And my friends, boom, Ouija board in the air. They're run screaming and they're gone. We sat and waited for them for an hour. And eventually they come back and it was me and him and we're laughing. I'm like, "Thanks for coming to rescue me, dicks."
I know. I was just going to say, you just found out how your friendship was.
Right? Yeah. That was our Fernie Ouija board thing is that.
Although to be fair, if I saw Corbin taken away in an empty graveyard at night in a cloak,
you'd retreat faster.
Yeah, I would. Gone. I'd be buying a different mortgage somewhere. I'd be signing off the bills in his name. I'm like, no, he's not coming back.
She's gone.
So I keep talking about this goddamn movie. Okay, remember I talked about Terrifier 3?
Oh, yeah.
News on Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
What is this?
So there's these 2 horror movies that I find to be absolutely deplorable, and I can't.
Here, I'll show you a picture of the clown. You'll recognize the photo.
Okay, yeah, you'll recognize the clown.
Did you just unfold your phone?
You did.
Yeah, this is a Samsung Flip.
Anyway,
the you know how I hate Hostel. Mm-hmm. Okay. In the vein of Hostel, these are the worst, meanest spirited. There's no fun to be had in these horror movies, and they're super violent with practical effects.
Barf.
Anyway, Terrifier 3 got banned in France.
The French were like, "No."
Yeah, they had in the first opening scene.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'd know to see it.
I mean, the
black and white mimish clown with the
in the first opening
smile.
scene. Apparently, it's so visceral. In the first showing, 9 people walked out. 1 person vomited.
Well, and so
which is subjective,
right? And that,
but you got to know what you're going. If you're why are you at Terrifier 3 if you haven't seen the awfulness of the first 2?
So I got a question for you then.
Go ahead.
Because I know you like the. So first of all, I think we both know that I don't care for mean-spirited horror in the same way.
No,
that
I don't either.
There has to be fun to be had.
There has to be fun,
and I think that's the difference between because the trauma movies used to always do that. They're like 10 people died watching this movie, 3 women miscarried, like the whole thing. But they were always fun. Like there was some element of that. It was a little bit silly.
Yeah.
And so do you think it's, what do you think is the difference between watching, say, something like that, like a trauma movie from the 70s and something like this? Is it the spirit of it?
Two things. There's no comic relief whatsoever. There's no sense of fun. And the second thing is how long they linger on kills. It's the amount of time they spend on kills and how much they show. Like when you're talking about like a Scream movie that you're so into, someone gets killed in about 15 seconds.
Right.
Or 20 seconds.
Their head just pops off.
It's just something, right?
Yeah.
This will be like 5-minute lingering kill.
It's like pornographic and in the very sense of being like exploitative of that.
Yeah. And it's just not good.
I hate that.
So I got banned. Apparently, Joker is dog shit, guys. Joker Part 2.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Spooky because it's a clown.
So let's take a vote here.
Sure.
Okay.
Who liked the first Joker movie?
I see one hand.
Oh, yeah, just the one.
Just the one.
Just yours, hey?
To throw back on something that you said last episode, Corbin.
Did I say something?
Well, you said some things. It is a good movie. It's not necessarily a good Batman movie.
No, definitely not.
But it was a good movie. Like it was a good introspective view of someone falling and turning into what they were naturally going to turn into, right? So you take that Arthur Fleck story and he becomes the Joker at the very end. There's a nice beginning, middle, end.
So when I say I didn't like it, okay, we're talking like it can be like a 6 out of 10 for me. Okay, I agree with all these things you said.
Yeah.
There was the ending which gave it kind of an ambiguous.
And then
was
and I liked that too.
Was he in the? Did he used to dream up this
was
whole
it in
thing?
his head? Did it happen?
So apparently, Part 2 shits on all of that.
Oh, they're like, hey, you liked that ambiguous ending? No more.
Yeah, and it's a musical.
Yeah, I think Lady Gaga's in it, so they're going to make her sing.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people are saying it looks like they got Lady Gaga and they said, awesome, let's build a movie around
write a movie
her
for
because
her.
now we have her. Like, so it almost
Harley Quinn.
because the thing that like what we've argued before in like Star Wars and that kind of a thing is that they did all that work for Arthur Fleck in the first movie. And then he's finally this timid little man who finally releases himself and becomes the Joker, this charismatic, outgoing, homicidal clown, right? At the end of the movie. He's walking down, even without the makeup, he's walking with the cigarette, blood on his hands, kills the therapist lady, whatever, right? But then immediately into the second movie, he's right back to being timid little Arthur again. And it takes Harley Quinn to pull him back out. Like, so you just step back on all the work they set up for the first movie.
You see it?
I take times learning about movies. So this happens, right? So that, I think, it just story-wise it doesn't work, right? And now you're relying the whole thing on this new character you're bringing in and just forgetting everything that you spent a whole movie doing. It feels like they made this movie because the first one made money,
right?
And they had to say, you made money, you're making a sequel.
I've got it's funny that goes back to a gripe that I've got, which is not terribly spooky, and I think Corbin.
Sorry, we only do spooky gripes.
So this is kind of it's comic books.
Say it in a scary voice,
in a spooky voice. So
yeah.
Corbin, you might appreciate this as a comic fan. Is that I've got a comic book related gripe, which is that that's actually because there's some spooky comics in this. That there are a bunch of comics. Dark Horse is really really bad, or Image. Anyway, one of the two of them is really bad at doing this right now. There's a couple of comics that have come out that were fabulous. Nice House on the Lake was really good. Something is Killing the Children, which is a horror comic, so that's spooky. Fabulous. Both written by the same guy, but the story ran its course, but we're still going because it's making money. So the first 20 issues of Something Killing the Children is an amazing comic. Now we're on issue 26, 27, and I hate this thing.
Oh, no.
I do. It comes out every month, and I'm like, I read it, and I'm like, God damn it. Like, same with Nice House on the Lake. Great premise, crazy idea. It was supposed to run for 12 issues, but it sold like crazy. So at the end of the 12th issue, it's like, just kidding. The whole story we were building towards not happening now. It's something out. And
that's annoying.
It's
annoying. It gets dropped off like that.
It gets dropped off. Another one called Department of Truth has been like treading water for 5, 6, 7 issues now because it sold really well. And so now we have to keep stretching it out. And that's my gripe is that I'm so mad at comics right now.
Comics suffer the same fate, I think, as network TV pilots. You know what I mean? Like, so like you get a show like Prison Break, right? Okay,
the most famous example of I'm laughing because I forgot. I think we've had this conversation in times, times past about like, let's break out of the prison. Uh-oh, we're popular.
Uh-oh. What do we do now?
Guys, I only wrote one season for the show.
Once it gets out, like that's all she wrote.
They write this one hook, and then once they pay off that hook, it's like, we got nothing.
Now we're going back.
But how many shows have you seen that happen where it's such a good first season because they don't plan an overarching story? That's why
Battlestar.
Fucking seasons 1 through...
Shut your slut mouth. That show was amazing.
It's so funny. They don't plan Battlestar.
BSG.
Anyway,
I love that show.
Really quickly,
to
just keeping it spooky.
spooky.
Hellboy, the Crooked Man.
Oh yes,
came out at the end of September.
Contact my Chinese friends and get that to say.
So I've been looking up on it. Some rumors. Do you want me to get into it, or do you want to wait? Do you want to go in blind?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
So, just with like everyone is saying it would be a really, really well done fan fiction movie of the Hellboy.
But it is a Mignola.
But it is an actual
story.
movie, so it's a full movie. So
it's a Mike Mignola story.
It's a great story too. The Crooked Man's a great comic.
So they, for the most part, it just sounds like. So this is kind of like in the 50s-ish, in like 1950s-ish. They're like the Appalachian Mountains. They get trapped in a church, witches, spooky ghosts, and then the Crooked Man shows up, who is sort of like a soul collector for the devil. They very much lean into the horror, Mike Mignola, as you said, and they all kind of say the first half of the movie, which kind of takes place in the woods in the church, as they're almost Evil Dead 2-esque type of thing. They said is good. They said the second half of the movie you can just skip it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is
just stop watching it.
Garbage. Like so, so I mean, watch what you want. They say, what's his name? Jack Casey.
Never heard of him.
Casey, who does Hellboy, does a pretty good job with it. I mean, it's not Ron Perlman, so I don't care. But
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I was hoping this one because I liked Hellboy. I enjoyed the movies. But Hellboy comics are fun when they go into the horror of it. Like they really lean into that supernatural horror. Are the best Hellboy runs out there, and I was excited for this, but the reviews are not great.
And I'm not familiar with the Crooked Man arc, so
good. Yeah, I think it was just a side story. I don't think it was like a whole arc. I think it was just like one.
And honestly, it's just kind of a side story to this movie too. Like it's just really the back half where the Crooked Man starts going into gear. So, I would almost watch this one with you, Corbin, because I don't think it's going to be that scary, but I don't think it's that good either. But yeah, I liked how it
do
looks.
that, or we could watch Joker Part 2.
What does that
mean? What does that mean?
It sucks.
Part 2 Foley? Yeah, it means trash.
Not as good as the first
Part 2-ish.
Yeah.
But so it was funny. We both made the Harley Quinn face. Is the like... can we shoehorn her into more things than ever? Like, oy.
And I would love a good Harley Quinn movie. Like a good one. Like it is a good character.
The problem with having a good Harley Quinn character is
you need a good Joker.
You need the good Joker,
yeah. Right? They got to play off each other.
You have to play off each other,
which we haven't had since Nicholson. So.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not going to bite.
Yeah. No. All right, just checking.
The man is dead. I can't believe you would just like slag him off like that.
I'm not biting.
Question for you, gentlemen.
Go.
And it's spooky.
Ooh.
Teens trick-or-treating, yay or nay?
Oh, nay.
You know what? I've got a really vibrant neighborhood.
Yep.
And the streets are flooded with kids out here.
Yeah.
So it's super fun. So we go outside, we set up our table, and we have our neighbors, and we all have drinks outside, and the kids are coming and going, and it's a really fun time here.
But like two 16-year-olds in lousy Power Ranger costumes roll up and are like, chocolate bars. Are you like, yeah, or you get off my porch?
No, if you're participating, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Why
I'm
nay?
in the spirit.
Why are you saying nay, Kyle?
Well, so as soon as you said that, I had a visceral reaction, but I'm thinking like older teens. So like,
sure, if you're 16, let's say 17-years coming around.
Yeah, 17-year. I don't know. It felt like you got some other stuff to do. Like you should be going to like your little teenager Halloween parties maybe or something. Because I love Halloween. I do. And it's just, I don't know, going around trick-or-treating at that age. Like if you're 13, 14, I don't know. It's just something about it. I had some kind of a gut reaction.
Yeah, you moved.
I did. I was
moved
like,
over there, yeah.
I felt my innards like shift.
I don't think I'm like, I'd rather them be doing that than throwing eggs or doing something shitty, because if they're not doing that, they're probably doing something shitty.
Yeah, and
right?
the ones that are coming to your door probably don't have a party to go to.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, that's fair.
So if they're willing to get into a costume and put in the work,
and get it out there,
and you get some candy.
I mean, if it's good, yeah.
Just don't knock on my door after the lights are off, because that means I'm out.
Yeah, that is the rule.
Yeah, that is the rule.
How do you feel about this now? Because you specifically, because you are in an apartment building now, so you don't get to do Halloween with kids anymore.
No,
is that a good thing?
I don't know what they're gonna. A lot of people, because I live in an old folks' home, are going to have their grandkids maybe coming around. So I have some candy in case.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like, because we're also kind of off the beaten path. So no one's walking.
No one's walking.
No one's walking.
I get like 10 kids tops, because I'm gonna like crescent.
I'm not lying to you. We got there's hundreds of kids on the street.
Wow.
It's insanity
that's awesome.
here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Yeah.
Maybe we'll just come sit here and watch you do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm outside having drinks.
Yeah.
So, and then my neighbor has this whole projection show where pumpkins are like he has real pumpkins and he projects faces onto the pumpkins and they're singing and he's got back screens and it's really.
Do you dress up while you're out there handing out candy?
So I say I'm going to every year.
Okay.
Fred, you're like, this is the year.
I have this Cobra Commander costume that I've had for a decade and I have yet to wear it. Can you give me every year I say I'm going to do it.
Can you give me your best Cobra Commander?
Cobra!
Okay, that's not
that was actually pretty good. That was
actually, that's not terrible.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Very cool.
There was just
Destro.
there was a Hera Skeletor in there too, which I was into.
I think it's the same guy, isn't it?
Was the same guy?
Is that the same guy with voice?
Is both voice?
Yeah.
There you go. I learned something today.
So, kind of want to talk about, since we're talking about Halloween, getting dressed up.
Yeah.
The most successful and the least successful Halloween costumes.
Were you a big Halloween guy? Like dress up?
Oh yeah, very much so.
So most successful, least successful.
I shouldn't play, because when I was creating my top 5, it took me like 2 hours of going through all kinds of Halloween stuff. So I crossed the most successful in costume bridge already.
Okay.
Going through it.
Okay, we're not going to touch that then.
Yeah.
But I mean, you
how about least? Did you ever dress up in a costume that was just such a miss that you were like, why did I do this?
Yes, I did, but I was happy that I did it.
Okay.
And
is it on your top 5 list or
no? I didn't do that one.
Okay, so
but a friend of ours, Tony, who's a regular on our sister podcast, he was. We didn't know each other at the time, but he was at. It was back when I was in college, and the college itself would put on big Halloween parties, and he was there, and we didn't know each other, but he remembered my costume, and so fast forward 20 years, we were talking about it with a group of people, and I said what it was, and he's like, "Wait a second, this year, this?" He's like, "Yeah, I saw you." He's like, "It was that." He remembered it. It was that fun.
What was it?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but it might have been too soon. So
which is the best kind?
So I tan button-up shirt, tan cargo pants, and tan boots, and I flayed out iron clothes hanger and put not leotards, stockings, hoses that women put on their legs, and wrapped that around, and then cut off the tip, and then I taped the triangle piece to my back. And the front I put into a tip, and I put it in my front, and I went as the crocodile hunter, which is about 2 weeks after he died. Just a little bit of blood down either side.
Wow. I can see why somebody would be like, "Oh, you were that guy?"
There was I can't tell you how many people were upset that I wore that costume. And it was funny. I mean, I thought it was hilarious, but it was funny because a lot of people were like viscerally upset by it.
Yeah.
They had that much of a connection to good old Steve Irwin.
Right. I don't know. I mean, he was a cool guy. Everyone liked him, right? But
more people than you thought.
But some people really
out of bounds, man.
Really, and he remembered. He's like, I remember. Like, that was fucking him. Like, yeah.
Well, I'm going to speak in generalities for my answer for this question.
Speak away, buddy. Sure.
I think those ones are the most successful. It's the ones that play on pop culture and then have some sort of right now reference.
The Joker, when the Joker came out.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Everyone was fucking dressed.
But there was one I saw. It's not a Halloween costume. It was a Halloween decoration on Twitter, and it's an Australian breakdancing costume and a skeleton doing the raptor bit. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good.
That's good.
There's going to be a lot of breakdancing costumes this year.
I think the least successful ones is a genre of it is is the laziness that comes out of the slutty nurse and the slutty librarian and the slutty Captain America,
the slutty police officer,
the slutty
Captain
fireman.
America.
You know what I mean? Like just to get better. Be better.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's funny you mentioned topical. So my least successful was a very untopical reference that I loved.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing where I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. Nobody knew who I was, but they all thought I was somebody else. So I went as Malcolm McDowell's character from the Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
So like hat, the makeup, cane, dressed all in white, all that stuff like that. It was the same year that Usher did the same thing in a music video. So everyone's like, hey, you're dressed as Usher? And I'm like, oh. And so I went to, I went to a big Halloween party at a bar. And it was like, oh, I love your Usher costume. No, you don't. So yes, it was like, well, yeah, I'm going to reference a 25-year-old movie that, that's what the kids are into.
Did you ever watch, it was a very niche thing. It was almost like a webisode show. It was a comedy called Children's Hospital. And it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most star-studded comedy casts ever, like Rob Corddry, Rob
That's the one I remember is Rob Corddry being in it.
Ken Marino. Just so many people are in this show. So I dressed up as the doctor with the John Wayne Gacy clown makeup and then the hands on the nurse scrubs. And I'm like, that was one of my favorite ones.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. Kids didn't like that.
Didn't care for that one.
No.
This whole time I've been looking up John Oppenheimer. Alan Oppenheimer, who is the voice actor for Skeletor.
Oh, yeah, is it the same one?
He's done a fucking lot.
Yeah.
On this guy, Jays Loezas.
Oh, then that's not the same one as
this is
Cobra Commander, because I think Cobra Commander is Frank Welker.
Yeah, no, not Cobra Commander.
So, yeah, they're different.
Nice pull.
He did the Old Timer, Toy Story 4. The same one as Skeletor. How is this guy still alive? Anyway,
great character, great voice for
yeah.
Skeletor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the Agatha TV show for Marvel came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking, do we care about Marvel anymore? Like, is it over? Are we done?
I mean, I doubt it'll ever be over.
Did you guys watch Agatha?
No.
Yeah. Like, I
don't care. I'm quite apathetic towards the MCU right now.
Oh, nice.
See what I did there?
That's the name of the podcast. I get it.
Yeah, I'm quite also apathetic.
Me too. You know what else? Star Wars 2.
So we watched it just because we reviewed the show, the latest one. And so, but I think if we didn't review it, I'm not sure if we would have watched it.
No, it burned my wick.
Oh,
I moved on.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way with the MCU. Where I was like, maybe I'll watch the first episode of Agatha all along, and then I did, and then I was like,
yeah,
just big fat meh.
Which is what will kill it finally, because people freaking out about it is still good publicity, right? But once apathy sets in, then you're done.
Oh God, I love apathy.
I do. It's true. It fixes all the problems.
I was thinking, I'm like. I'm going to watch the Captain America movie next year because I like the espionage ones, like I mentioned before.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So I'll watch that. I'll probably watch Thunderbolts because it'll probably be kind of the same. But I'm just not interested in.
I'm not excited for any of them.
I'm not stoked.
I'm not setting my watch or being excited for any of them. They just like the MCU's just become apathetic to me.
Yeah.
Which is my goal in life.
Right.
For all
they're helping you is what they're doing.
Yeah. Really. They help me get to true apathy.
How many more spooky gripes do you have?
One or two. But
I got two. Yeah, I got two.
Okay, you go ahead.
No, let's keep going. You go.
No, mine are boring. You go ahead. mine are just here in case.
That's the spookiest of all. Yeah.
I've got a tech thing to talk about.
Okay.
And I've got two tech things.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's do because mine are only here in case Kyle was a shitty guest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So I want to talk about. So we're in this season where we're so close. Either it's going to be happen for Christmas, or it's going to happen for March or April.
Yeah.
Is the Switch Part 2.
Oh, yes.
You think so,
Switch Pro? Switch 2?
Switch 2. Okay. Because what happened was, we talked about this last week, Echoes of the Kingdom or Echoes of Wisdom came out recently, Zelda game, and it's not running very well on the original Switch. It's just not running well. It staggers, a lot of frame rate drops. It's just not, it can't keep up with, the hardware can't keep up with it.
My wife's playing it on her Switch Lite, so I should ask her if she's having problems.
See if there's any frame rates.
I should.
The question was whether we get it for Christmas this year or early, because Nintendo's weird. They do weird release schedules, so they might do it for March, April again. What do you want to see in the Switch 2?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, I think something that can crunch those numbers, those ray tracing, those you got to go up graphical fidelity, because that's the one thing they really haven't cared, but it makes things hard to port to the Switch.
Makes things hard to port, true. But there's no denying that first-party Nintendo games are never graphically demanding.
No.
And they're all hugely popular.
Because gameplay is king.
Because gameplay is king.
Gameplay is king.
Honestly,
right.
that's all I really need to see from it is just some people have said OLED display. They really want like some kind of.
I've got the OLED and it's very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Like, I don't know. Like that's, I mean, we'd probably get one just because I'm kind of a whore that way. You know, that when new stuff comes out, I'm like, yes, please put it in me. You know, but I don't know. How about you? What do you need?
I need a couple things. I need faster Wi-Fi because if you've ever tried to get the eShop, it's like
well, it's still an 802.11 in the Switch, right?
Slow. What's that?
It's still an 802.11 in the Switch. They didn't put a 6E or whatever they call it now.
They don't go. Yeah, they need Wi-Fi 6E at the very least in this thing to get it going. So I need a better Wi-Fi. I need a bigger screen per se. I think I'd like a bigger screen. I like the 7-inch on the one we got, but rumor has it it's going to be an 8-inch.
Oh,
which is what a Steam Deck is.
Oh yeah, okay. So
I want it to have. I like the battery life on the Switch, so I'm not upset about that. Originally, I was going to say D-pad, but it makes sense to not have a D-pad on the Switch because then you can use the two controllers separately as a thing. So you're not going to get a traditional D-pad, unfortunately.
Right,
Well, let me ask you this.
Go.
I know they're not going to do this 100%. I know. But would you, if they maybe gave the option, would you be willing to spend an extra $150 on the unit if it was made with really nice, heavy, durable material instead of the light plastic? I know why they do it, and I get it. I know they're going to continue to do that. But
So give me the downside of the plastic.
just because it feels cheap. You
want like a premium feel.
Yeah, you're looking for this is all tactile.
Part of that premium feel comes with this thing's fucking heavy to play. And I play 99% handheld.
Okay,
so I don't want it to be heavy. They're fixing one thing. The rumor that on the street right now is they're fixing one thing about the cheapness of it. Because what happened? My son was playing it and playing Fortnite, and he got mad. And he went like this, and he snapped the Joy-Con off, and the rails came off. So what they're doing is they're going to be magnetic connections now.
Oh, that's way better.
For the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I like that.
Because actually, we've broken a rail too.
Yeah.
Not a Fortnite related incident, but the same kind of thing. Was when you're porting it around, sometimes it just
No, I like that idea. And even just taking them off and on again and transporting is wears and tear.
Yeah. So you might the rumor is connecting by magnets.
Oh,
interesting. That's cool.
Oh, I don't mind that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about? Yeah, this Switch 2.
Well, Switch 2 is what. That was
What make it spooky?
Sometimes your rails break off.
You're gonna have to spend more money.
Oh, it has to be backwards compatible. If it's not backwards compatible with Switch 1, then it's an automatic fail, and it's not a buy.
It has to be.
It has to be.
I will not buy it if it's not backwards compatible.
It would be.
I can't even imagine them making
such a business misstep if they didn't make it backwards compatible.
Here's the thing. Technology is now at a place where the current eShop and the current Nintendo account is going to be constant now. Like, you're not reinventing that wheel.
No.
It's
you have the shop.
It's at where it's at. Yeah. So you have to have these games be backwards compatible. And most of my collection is digital, but the ones that I have physically, I would like to still play on the Switch too. Right. How they differentiated that for... if you remember between the DS and the 3DS, they had like a little notch on the cartridge to differentiate them, and they just made them different colors.
Yeah, you slide it up or down.
Maybe they can make the cartridges taste better this year.
Right?
Maybe they're
stale.
Yeah.
That
bitter taste is not good. Maybe, but that's my hope for the Switch 2, and I hope it does come out for Christmas instead of next year.
Nice.
And I'm hoping the price point stays the same.
Ooh, that might be a bit.
Well, if it's a bigger screen, I'm willing to pay like $50 more.
Yeah.
But and I'm talking.
Well, right now, what is the Switch for? Let me find out.
What's that? Switch is like what, $399?
I was going to $379, but I think you're right.
$379,
something like that.
And then $4 something for the OLED Switch.
Was the Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only we had a guy on the show that could look up stuff.
We tried it out last episode, Kyle. We tried out a podcast producer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
To see if it would work. He would do all the Googling, and he would be the judge in arguments and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we already knew going in we weren't going to hire him.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is good.
I think so. It was a fine episode.
Yeah.
The OLED model is
it was fine.
$450.
$450.
Okay. So it's probably going to be just 6. I was going to say 556.
Yeah, I'd say 6.
Because it's the way things are. Right?
So here's the thing, because if Echoes of Wisdom is having some stagger issues, Metroid Prime 4, which is being released in 2025, is going to get it's not going to be playable at all.
What about what scares me about that game is that if they're making it for the Switch, then when it comes out on Switch 2, let's say it's a release game on the Switch 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Then they're going to be having just to bump it up a little bit, so you're not going to have the true fidelity of like
you're
a
be
made for new compound.
But I don't need 4K on a Switch. I don't need it.
That's what because you're.
But it's on a small screen. Like I don't need that.
You wouldn't notice it on a screen that small.
Well, it's funny going up to the 8. I was thinking about it too. My kid's got a Steam Deck and he carries it like everywhere. Like he ports it. It's portable, and so I would say going up even just that little bit is not going to hurt the Switch.
I bet you the screen, they do a little bit more to the OLED, but not much. They put more power behind the hood.
Yeah,
and their big sell, and this is just a fucking guess on my part, is they're going to do a whole new controller system. It's going to be their big push. They're going to get rid of the Joy-Cons. They're going to come up with a whole new version of the Joy-Con, like Joy-Con 2 or whatever they want to call it, and that'll be their big fancy push for it. Because
if they make an 8-inch screen, they're going to be bigger. That's for sure.
Yeah. So there's going to be something new, and like they take them off and they have that little small plastic control you can do the double Joy-Con thing. I think that's going to be their big hardware push.
There's going to be something there.
It'll be peripheral heavy rather than
because
they are Nintendo. They're Nintendo at the end of the day. So
because the formula works. There's no reason to go away from
and it's worked
the
for them.
Switch idea.
It sells like crazy all the time still.
We talked about it a couple podcasts ago. It's the third highest selling console, and it's only behind first place by 10 million units.
Yeah, I listen.
And people are going to be playing. Yeah. People are going to be buying Switches on sale right through June, July of next year.
Yep. Nonstop.
Yeah,
very good.
Cool.
Yeah. You have one more? Do you want to move on to something?
Skip it. It's kind of boring.
Let's. Well, that takes us to something we do pretty often on this show.
Yeah,
but it's spooky this time.
Ooh. Yeah, spooky top 5.
Here we go. Top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5.
All right, Tanner, you got this. You made this one today.
This is a Tanner top 5, everybody.
And we know it has something to do with Halloween costumes.
Ooh.
Right, because I just about...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, okay. It was something I looked into doing, but I didn't do.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not at all. What I ended up with...
Cool,
for Tanner's top 5, I didn't want to. It's a spooky episode. I didn't want to do the top 5 best horror movies, or the top 5 scariest video games. That sounded like fucking hop sauce.
I'll take care of that stuff later.
Okay. I didn't want to be a fucking loser.
He's bagging on it.
I do just basic bitch shit.
Listen, you're on my turf. Yeah, that's right.
So I you can ask my wife. I couldn't figure out what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I ended on this. For rain or shine. Here we go. Top 5.
Top 5.
I'm ready. Tanner's top 5. Actors starring in horror roles before they were famous.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Well, I got 2 off the top of my head.
Okay, I'm going to throw the name out, gentlemen.
And tell me the movie.
Because I like to gamify all my top 5s. So I'll throw the name out, and you tell me what movie they were in.
Okay.
Prior.
I like it.
This is before they were famous.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5, Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen. Which one is that? That's the
Scarlet Witch.
That's Scarlet Witch. What was she in?
Elizabeth Olsen. Oh, I don't remember.
Too long. Before the youngest Olsen sister became Marvel's Wanda Maximoff, she made her film debut in 2011 in Silent House. Starred as Sarah, who was working with her father and uncle to renovate an old house for sale. And guess what? It was haunted.
And silent.
And not that.
I've never seen or heard of Silent House.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, if it's going over your head, then
it's like, huh.
It premiered at Sundance under the name Martha Macy May Marlene.
Oh, that movie. No,
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know why that. Yeah, that was a terrible name for a movie. Number 4.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp.
It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
It is Nightmare on Elm Street.
He gets sucked into the bed, and if you are lucky, there's a clip on Twitter going around of the extended scene, and it shows him coming back out of the bed, which they don't show in the movie, and he's all bloodied and everything. And it looks really cool. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Do you think he was one of the first people in movies to wear a cropped jersey?
Yeah, it was a cropped sweatshirt. I believe it was.
It
was a sleeveless cropped sweatshirt.
Yeah, do you think he was the first?
Yeah.
To rock it? Good for Johnny.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston.
So that was in the Leprechaun movie.
It was Leprechaun. Well done, Corbin. See? Very good.
It's like here. It's the encyclopedia. Once you're flipping through there, it's...
She's quite often.
I told them. Was this on the podcast last week? I told you about the Big Brother thing. Remember that time me and you were sitting and we're at a bar and I rattled off every contestant in Big Brother for the first 12 seasons?
For the first 12 seasons. It was...
Is that confirmed?
Staggering, yes. Wow. It was. Well, it's funny that we were talking about that when you made... I was laughing because I was listening to the episode where you made the game about like top 11 people and you were like, this game is for you. It's like once you're flipping through the encyclopedia, that stuff just falls out of you.
Everyone remembers Corbin's games.
It's breathtaking. When you watch it happen, when you watch the stuff just fall out of you, you're like, I don't understand.
It's weird. You can say weird.
Yeah,
it's weird. Yeah.
It's a little bit spooky is what it is.
Exactly what it is. It's spooky weird. Number 2.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 4. It's called. There's a different name to it, but there's a different name to it, like Texas Chainsaw from the beginning or something like that. Okay. But it's the 4th movie in the series. And it also stars Renee Zellweger.
That was. I was going to say I'll give you for an extra half a point. Who else is in there?
Renee Zellweger.
Well done. Wow. The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was later re-edited and retitled to Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
Okay, that's what it was. I thought it was the beginning or something.
Yeah. Weird. 1995.
Yeah, that was at the old video store that I used to go to.
Yeah,
I remember that one. I looked at it multiple times before I bought it.
Number 2, again, all actors before they were famous in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah.
I'll be interested if you're going to get this one, Corbin. Maybe we'll give our guest a chance to guess, though.
Sure.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. What would he have been in? Well, no. I was going to say the only thing that I could think of would be The Burbs, but he was already famous for The Burbs.
He was already famous. This is before Big.
Before Big?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer. You do.
Got
stumper.
I don't.
It's spooky. Corbin doesn't know what's happening.
I don't remember him being in a horror movie.
His very first starring role was in a horror slasher film titled He Knows You're Alone.
Wow.
Which Hank shows off his charisma as a small role as a psychology student named Elliot. This film is quite oftenly be referenced as a Halloween knockoff, which basically shares almost the exact same plot as a woman is stalked by a killer targeting soon-to-be brides.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Did
Tom
he
Hanks.
turn out to be the murderer?
He was not.
Oh.
No.
Both of us were like disappointed. We're like,
Yeah, that was it. No.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Tom Hanks. That's top 5.
That
was good. I got a couple of them there.
Yeah,
Got a couple of
pretty
them
good.
I saw it working too. Like you were working hard on digging deep, but
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
It comes to our favorite part of the podcast.
Oh, we're so good at this.
Listen, we've taken this a different direction. So, Kyle, historically, what we've done is when we get a guest on, we interview them about their career, their background, and then we talk about mental health for a while and how it affects their stuff. We're not doing any of that today. Okay?
Boom.
We are focusing solely on your gaming history. Is that correct?
We have a tabletop gaming master with us right now,
and we want to extract.
We would be a fool not to dig into this.
You want to wheeze my juice? Is that what you're saying?
We're going to wheeze your juice.
I want to crump your biscuit.
But the first question we ask every guest: crump your biscuit?
What?
Sorry. What did I say?
Where's that from? Did you just make that up?
It's a common phrase. Don't look it up. Anyway, one of the first questions we ask our guests is, "What's your favorite movie?"
What's my favorite movie? Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, I knew that. Oh, I knew that.
My next question is, what's your favorite Kurt Russell movie?
The Thing. Yes. It is my favorite movie, and there's no I have a roaming sort of top 5. The top 5 sort of shifts and changes around, but Big Trouble in Little China is my favorite movie.
It's so good,
and it's just one of those things that once you click on to what's happening in it, every part of it is fun. I have the giant man crush on Kurt Russell. It's just always have. It's great. I love that's my favorite movie.
It's a good movie.
I love that the sidekick is the main hero,
right?
And once the main hero is the sidekick.
And once you click onto that, you're just like, oh my god, this movie's great.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on? I think we've talked about this before. What are your thoughts on? Now they say that it'll be a remade with The Rock.
Almost, no interest, basically. Is that it's one of those things that it was like the remake of The Thing, right? Did I ever see the remake of The Thing? No. Was it good? I have no idea. I don't care. I had a thing that I still like to see, and so I don't know why I would want to go and redo that.
Yeah.
Because I still like it.
Yeah, that was actually a prequel that came out, not a remake.
Oh.
And actually the thing that you're thinking of
yes.
that you like
was a remake.
Is the remake,
of
yeah.
the thing.
Which is
You beat me a big turn.
because it was done in the 50s earlier, right?
Yeah.
Before that. And actually, the one thing, if we're talking about Thing trivia, it's based off of a short story called Who Goes There?
Oh, yeah.
The Thing?
I think I knew that.
Yes, and so this is the part that I love about that short story is the guy who wrote it because he was haunted by when he was about 7 or 8. He came home from school and his mother was in the kitchen and he was talking to her, but it wasn't his mother, it was his mother's twin sister. Oh. And he remembers that as a kid, that feeling of like he's talking to somebody who looks like his mom and it's clearly not his mother. And so he that stuck with him when he wrote it in his 30s. He wrote Who Goes There, and that became
That's
the thing.
a great premise.
That's cool. Well, it's a good movie. It doesn't need movies like that. Don't need remakes. You can go back and watch Big Trouble in Little China now. I mean, even with the veneer of 80s that it was made in, the story stands up.
It's still fun.
Like it still
great.
works.
No reason to remake
there isn't.
that movie at all.
Yeah.
And it's not going to have the same 80s charm to it.
No, because either they're kind of trying too hard for it, or some stuff is just a product of its time, and you kind of go, maybe we can't do that.
You can't be throwing around a 6-demon bag nowadays. Not going to work.
Right.
So you said earlier you were brought into D&D at age 8.
Yeah, 8.
How did that happen? How did that come about?
So I had a friend, my best friend at the time. He had an older brother, a much older brother, and him and his friends played Dungeons and Dragons all the time. We were always like hanging around and like looking around, and we were maybe 8 or 9, and eventually he was like, fine, I'll teach you little weirdos how to play D&D. And then we started playing, and that was it. I was a guy who spent a lot of time playing Dungeons and Dragons in high school, like 6-hour 7-hour sessions, like 4 nights a week, like with lots and lots.
And back then, was it just was there any miniatures involved in that back then?
There could have been. Then, we didn't, because we didn't have any money and there was nowhere to buy them in front.
That's what I was going to ask you. How was the availability to get this game where you were?
Not great. The bookstore that we got our Dungeons and Dragons books was in Cranbrook, which was an hour away. So when you're like 12, right, you're like, how the hell am I going to get to the town an hour from here? You'd wait till your parents were going or something, and then you'd jump in and go to the bookstore and get a new book and bring it home, and like everybody's like, oh my god, you've got the Fighter's Manual, and everybody's freaking out, and like, so yeah, it's that's where the sort of where the gaming came from, and it's video games, it's tabletop games. Like I'm a guy who plays games, and so, that is part of my core person.
What was your first character you made in D&D?
First character I made in D&D was a monk.
Oh,
so it was
3.5 then?
No, not
or
even
2.
No, yeah, so original, like advanced. So advanced D&D. Yeah, I made a monk, and that was I still love monks even when they even in 5
even now
even when they were terrible I still love them. I in the game last time we played a game where Professor Brent was DMing, I played a monk who used to go unconscious all the time because I didn't have enough hit points because I'm a monk. But I loved it. And so that's how I got in, and we played all kinds of stuff. We played Cyberpunk, we played Shadowrun, we played everything we could get our hands on from a tabletop game perspective, like a role-playing game perspective, we were into.
So what's your favorite one to play?
My favorite
tabletop games.
My favorite. So if you're thinking about tabletop games, like I like the strategy war games. Like so going beyond like kind of the board game stuff. If I'm playing it with a tape measure, I'm happy. Okay. And so that's because I even play strategy games on the computer. There's a strategic thing. You just talk about how like you go, oh, you win all the time. I don't think about it that way. I can just see it's almost flow state stuff when I'm playing, is that I can just sit back and I'm looking at miniatures and I just see everything, and it's got a feeling that I just love, when it's all going like that,
So in an Ender's Game-esque world, the military should come to you for all their battles, because you'll be able to stand there.
Except I'm in my mid-40s. Yeah. Like, listen, we're looking for someone like you, but much younger. And I'm like,
That's funny. So I guess the question I have is like, so you like the tape measure stuff, but how do you choose your next game? Because you're kind of you're kind of restricted when you're playing tabletop to what is it? You got to convince everybody to do it, not just one person.
Not just one person. Yeah,
and So
what I was saying we always have around with the tabletop games is somebody's got to drive the bus. Right, is that if the bus is heading somewhere, everybody's willing to get on the bus as long as someone is driving. And so typically that ends up being me. If you guys have spent some time around me, I'm very enthusiastic about the things that I really like. And so I tend to infect that into other people, is that if I'm talking about a game, I'm like, oh yeah, it has this, and it has this. And have you seen the miniatures? And you look at that. And like, so it's just, sometimes only 2 or 3 guys bite on it, and then playing. That's why I kind of got 4 on the go right now. Is that I'm sort of concentrating on is 2 or 3 guys will play this, a couple of guys will play this. The one that's really challenging me from a tabletop perspective right now is called Infinity. And
isn't Infinity an old game?
It is an old game.
You've been playing that for years.
So I never got into it before. It kind of bounced off of me a couple of years ago. But the latest edition, and there's a new edition coming out in November, is pretty good. It's a game that I like to think has cognitive load, is what I talk about. So while you're playing, when you move your figures, there's like responses, because normally it's I go, you go, or these type of games, or I do everything and you do everything. In Infinity, every time you move, if your character can be seen, everybody gets to react. So if I'm trying to duck across a roadway or an alleyway and people can see me, they can shoot at you. It's called ARO. And so you're always playing. So you're always watching sight lines. You're looking to where a guy's going to go, and you're looking at the board and going, okay, I've got this covered. I've got this covered. I've got these lanes. If he moves here, this is what I'm going to do. And so you spend the whole 2.5, 3 hours just at this high cognitive load. And I feel tired when I'm done, but I love playing.
I like those games. I've seen a lot more of the tabletop RPGs go to that. They're moving away from the one turn, like Daggerheart that just came out.
Right.
It's much more go when you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me what you're doing.
When you want to go. There's no order. If Corbin wants to sit there and take 9 turns in a row, he can. Right. And I've played a couple of games with that. It's interesting. It's different because you're used to the turns, but I kind of like it. It really seems to speed up the process, and people naturally take turns anyway. Anyway, I kind of liked how they start. People are doing that more now.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up too, because so the tabletop game stuff I like from a miniature war game perspective, but also with the Dungeons & Dragons type stuff is that even though I'm currently started a new game of Dungeons & Dragons, and we're actually doing 5.5, so we're starting to
do the new one.
Yeah, doing the new one. Yeah, the characters are just so much more. They're so stronger. They're just class are better.
Feet start, baby.
Feet start. That's so good. But I've actually been playing more narrative type stuff, which I really like. So Mothership is really narrative, and then I'm also playing one that I was running for the guys called Old Gods of Appalachia, which if you've not listened to the horror podcast, Back to the Spookies. There's a horror fiction podcast called Old Gods of Appalachia, and if you've never listened
Appalachia.
If you've never heard it, it is, I think it's 3, 4, 5 seasons out or something like that. It's well worth your time. It is scary. It's sort of back in
podcast or YouTube. Yeah?
No, podcast. And it is really, really good. The guy's got I can't even do it. He does a really Kentucky accent. It's all about sort of spooky things in the mountains.
Spooky. Yeah, actually, Corbin does a fantastic Kentucky accent. If you've never heard it, Corbin, you want to give him a taste of that?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Funny enough, no, I'll pass on that. So, but it goes back to that. Instead of I turn, you turn, very restrictive. It's very narrative. So it's telling stories. Yeah, I like all that kind of stuff. I'm into it.
So with your tabletop games, they're all have similar veins in a sense. Is okay. You build your list.
Yep.
Okay. It's usually a point restriction.
Yep. Usually points.
Okay. It's a skirmish game of some sort, and then you play. What is, and as a through line, what is Line of Fire the most frustrating game element of all time?
When you're trying to pick it out, when you have the laser out,
Is it the most frustrating game element in all these games, or what? And if it's not, what is?
So yes, Line of Fire is, and every game's got a different version of what counts, from base to base or middle of base to middle of base.
Yeah.
There's a lot of keeping track of that.
And range.
And so the one trip, that's why I'm sort of restricting myself, which sounds weird, to 4 games. So I'm a breadth guy. I'm not really a depth guy. I'm not going to ever be the best at anything. I like to sort of spread myself out and be pretty good at lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And so sometimes the frustrating part is you cross over, you go, oh yeah, that's the, and they go, no, that's the other game. And you're like, oh, damn it. You gotta go back there and do that kind of stuff. That to me is Line of Fire, well, I'm also not, so if I had a gaming gripe, it's I really hate guys that argue. I don't, because that's
rules lawyers.
Well, yeah, I'm not in the Warhammer scene at all, really, because they just infect that where it's oh, let's spend an hour playing and 2 hours shouting at each other. So I have some neighbors, I don't know them, but they played Warhammer in their garage. And you can hear them from 4 or 5 houses down. And even my wife was like, is this what it's like when you guys... I'm like, no, I would not. I go for fun. I'm not going to come and spend 2 hours yelling at you about the rules.
So admittedly, 15 years ago, I was in a very bad place mentally. And you've seen me in my bad place before.
Yeah, you and I both, brother.
And that's when we decided to start taking up a new game together. and
which is the best time.
and
really.
so
let's share our depression together.
When you're just
games.
hanging on by like just the fingertips. It's like, let's start something
he's
up.
talking about arguing, and I'm like, okay, this is me. This is me when I first started because I was such an asshole back then. And so my question to you is, so he knows all. Here's how it works. So he knew all the jargon with games and how
And
things
being the nerd that I am,
how things are read and when I'm playing this first game with him, it was like I couldn't do anything. Like I'm like, what? I'm like, finally, I'm like, what can I do? I fucking hate this.
I remember that so clearly.
I want to climb the rope. You can't.
And
climb
so
the rope.
I just wanted to say thanks, and I apologize for that guy because he didn't know, and he was in a bad place back then.
So the thing is, and I really appreciate that because I was also not in a great place. I mean, like, we haven't spent a lot of time together lately.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things you'll notice, and people tell me all the time, is that you're like, oh, you are a very different person than you were. I was like, yeah. Turns out, and that goes back to like sleeping for a hobby, is that sort of
weird. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Weird how that works. You just sort of fix things up. But yeah, no, me too, brother. And so and it wasn't the you that I was talking about specifically in that. So there was one. I tried to take up Blood Bowl. A friend of mine was like, "Hey, you should join this Blood Bowl league," which is like like Warhammer football.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
with
so
orcs and football stuff.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they
Football is a real life sport, by the way.
yeah, it's like, well,
More than that.
he's talking about fantasy football. I assume, right? And it's so I joined this community. I played one season of this, and I will never go back. And my wife teased me. I was like, "Why are this community?" So to the people that are listening that play Blood Bowl, I apologize for this, but the community's awful.
You're all terrible rules
Like,
players. And no
it's
one likes you.
awful. And so I was complaining about it to my wife, and she goes, "The game is called Blood Bowl." I was like,
What did you expect you're going into?
I was like, stop being right. So we set it up, and it wasn't even me that was playing, but it was Dave, our buddy that we have now, Dave, and he was playing against one of the like top players in the league. And he sits down. As soon as they sit down, I'm standing next to Dave because I'm watching. This guy takes a look at Dave's models and goes, "Wow, they look like badly welded tanks. What did you do to these things?" And I was like, "We've never met you before. This is the first. That's the first thing you say." And so they just, it's all rules lawyer. It's all bad people with no social skills, and it's tough. And so I play for fun. So if I'm ever at that point where I'm like, the cost of playing, because sometimes there's a little bit of a cost to play, outweighs the fun, I'm out because that's.
So let me use one of my questions for you and ask Corbin.
Sure.
So Angry Corbin does that game. That first game with Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure you were yelling at it.
No, I wasn't yelling. It's just it's that I tried to do it, and I'm like arguing with him. Like, why can't I do this?
Yeah.
So you left that night. What was it of that? Whether it was Kyle, the game, the system itself. What was it that clicked in your brain that went from that first game to what I'm looking at on the wall of your house, which is a lot of a museum? So, like, what was it when you leaving that place? And in your head, you're laying there in bed that night. What pulled you in?
Okay, so you're asking me what pulled me in to stay playing?
Yeah, to start this.
Two things: the collectability factor of the game. It's a game. The game that we started with was called that I started with Kyle with. Well, not really, because there's a bunch of other ones that we started earlier were board games, but this specific miniature game was called Hero Clicks. And it was basically superhero chess with powers.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's collectible. So each set comes out has a theme, and it's got various characters, and there's various rarities in what you would get in these blind boosters that you'd get. And so I liked the collectability. It was addicting, and they really know how to tap into your blood on that.
They know how to get you.
They know how to get you. It's a pain in the ass. And the second thing was I'm so goddamn competitive. I needed to beat Kyle. I have to beat Kyle.
Did it ever happen?
At HeroClix, certainly, because there was a time like, well, and so I'm a big steel sharpens steel kind of guy when it comes to gaming. Is that when I play, I don't want you to go easy. Like, I never want an opponent to take it easy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're teaching somebody, that's one thing. But once I know how to play, I want you to play.
Time.
I want you to play as hard as I can, because the only way I'm going to get better is if you're fighting me hard, and I have to fight you hard to go back. And so it's funny that you talk about how they get you, because I was going to look at you and I was going to say chase figures.
I know, right?
It was like, chase figures
in my face.
And it was just funny that you talk about HeroClix. I actually can't. I was going to put my feet on this thing down here, but I can't because there's HeroClix maps under me. but that's So HeroClix was the first one that I was like, it was somebody going back to that. I was like, God, I really want to somebody to play this with. I was like, oh, Corbett loves comics. I should just show this to him and see if it bites. And it did. And it did. And
it damn near ruined the last 15 years of my life.
And at that moment, I was standing in our local comic book store, and I was looking at him, and I was like, starter's only that much. We can kind of play with it. I was like, I'll just show him and see what happens. And then we were clicking for a long time.
Yeah, we had a good run.
I had a good run, but
I'm gonna touch on that again.
Sure.
I'm going to name some games that I think you've played.
Okay.
I want you to confirm if I'm right, and I want you to rank the game out of 10.
Oh, God.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, sure. This is good.
10 spooks.
10 out of 10 ghosts.
I'm just going to start with the wall. Battlestar Galactica, the board game.
Oh, we've played that, and that's a 10 because I love that game.
That's a good game.
They've reskinned it.
They did?
Yeah, so
the new sci-fi series?
No, so the guys who Fantasy Flight, right?
Yeah.
It's now a Arkham horror flavored game. You're on a boat, and some people are squid men instead of being.
Oh, okay.
But the mechanically, it's exactly the same. And this is so dumb because I've passed it in the bookstore. I'd be like, should I just buy it? Like, see if I can convince like Corbin or somebody to play it, because we had so much. Have you ever played Battlestar?
Nope.
Oh, dude, that's a game I would pull back out in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
especially
me too.
with like a couple of guys. Because
me too.
The thing that I vividly remember is you and your buddies and us screaming like, "That's what a Cylon would say."
And we had this one guy. So you'd have this round, and if you didn't like somebody, you could. It was kind of like Among Us, where you just airlock a guy.
It's very much
and
like Among Us.
There's this one guy who just always voted to airlock somebody. And you're like, fuck, come on, man.
Like, we got
prove it.
We're trying to, but yeah. So it's a hidden. It's actually exactly like Among Us. So now that I think about it, it's like a hidden. You're either with them or against them. You're trying to sabotage.
Okay, that's cool.
It is.
There's an imposter who's a Cylon. Obviously.
It's silent.
Arkham Horror.
So Arkham Horror, of course, we've played. I rank that lower than Battlestar because Arkham Horror is good in theory, but the trouble with Arkham Horror is it takes so long to set up, and it's like the role-playing game too, Call of Cthulhu. It's very easy to lose.
Yes, you could lose very easy because you're playing collectively against
the board.
Yeah. And let me tell you, when I say this is an hour just to set up the board game, I'm not lying. It is an hour.
The table in the office, it's like 12 feet long, and we have covered it end to end in Arkham because you can get extra boards, and it's so funny because you set up all of this stuff, and you're like, this is happening, and then turn to all the portals open, and you lose, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Well, and then you're like, well, you didn't go there, and you didn't do that. Well, I couldn't because I had to get the shotgun. And you're like, well, that didn't help us.
So how do you rate Arkham Horror?
I would actually go down to probably 7-ish.
Okay.
7 spooks?
Because 7 spooks. I mean, it's fun, but the problem is it's got tertiary things. The setup is just...
a lot of expansion.
Which makes it more fun.
I got a lot of money on that shelf right there.
Yeah.
Dominion.
I actually really like Dominion. Dominion's like one of my top games. I can always pull... I love deck builders as a sort of a genre, and I'm hard-pressed to find one that does it better than Dominion. Mm-hmm. So Dominion's like a 9 or a 10, too. Same thing. I love Dominion. And if anybody's like, hey, you want to play Dominion? I'm like, yeah, I want to play Dominion. Like, I don't really... Like, there's no thought process behind that. I just like building engines.
Guild Ball.
Oh, poor Guild Ball. Yes, I played Guild Ball. This is going to get deep into nerd territory because Steam
we're there. Don't worry.
Steam Forge Games murdered Guild Ball. It was the game.
Did they be a creator or did they take it over?
So they were the creators and they cratered it. So what had happened was, so I actually played Guild Ball against the national champion. So we drove all the way to Edmonton to play Guild Ball once, and I played against the national champion and it lasted like 10 minutes because he was really good.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was. One of our buddies, Wally, was setting up to play Warhammer, and he was still setting up his army, and I walked over and he's like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "No, I'm already dead," because it was so good. It was so competitive. It was built to be a competitive game, but that kind of pushed people out of picking it up.
Yeah,
and so it didn't sell terribly well, and so they said, "Well, it's your fault. You're too competitive."
Yeah.
And so the community was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we're closing this game down because you guys aren't playing it properly.
It's always the fans' fault.
And so that really, and they're trying to reboot it now, and I think it's not going terribly well because they really soured people on Guild Ball. But I used to love that game.
So out of 10.
Oh, when I was playing it It was probably an 8. I really liked it. Now I wouldn't, like 2. I wouldn't touch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dice Masters.
Dice Masters. Played a lot of Dice Masters.
Yeah, Dice Masters was fun.
It was fun. I don't think I would go back to it.
As you can see, I've got 2 unopened boxes of Dice Masters there.
Do they? Oh, Secret Wars. Mm-hmm. Nice. I like Dice Masters a lot. It was very simple, kind of throwing dice. I give it about a 7. I liked it. I wouldn't chase it down anymore.
They've got different packs now. Remember how we used to open like foils, and it was 2 cards and 2 dice.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. So
really?
they have like decks, like a deck of cards.
Oh yeah.
And so you get like 20 cards in there and all the dice.
Oh, that's way
each
better.
pack.
Yeah, that's way better.
And then each box has like 10 packs.
Because we split. You and I split a couple of blind boxes, like entire display boxes of Dice Masters a few times, and so I sold mine at a garage sale a couple of years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, I would say like 6 or 7. Like I liked it for the time, but I wouldn't really have any interest in revisiting.
All right, the big contentious one.
Yeah,
HeroClix.
HeroClix.
Which is the one that got you into it.
The one that got me into it.
So again, with the Brett thing, I think the one thing, the one downside I don't like about HeroClix is the squares. Because I just
the board squares.
The board squares.
Okay.
It's too like HeroClix is almost like that to me is like it's almost exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Which is if it were more freeform, you could move by inches, you could spread out a little bit more. I think I would like HeroClix more. I find the squares restrictive enough that I don't really feel like going back and playing it for that reason.
Yeah.
It's almost too much of a board game. I'd almost rather play a board game. I have to be kind of, those mindsets are separate for me.
All right.
So I liked HeroClix a lot though.
Yeah.
I mean, we played it a lot for a lot of years. And so I'd say it's like an 8. Like big fan, but wouldn't rate
Malifaux.
What'd you call me?
Malifaux.
Malifaux. That's right. Malifaux is a game that I used to play, and there's new versions out. Nobody plays it in the community. I keep wanting to bring it back. It's like in my back pocket all the time. It's like, hey, if we're ever like not wanting something to play, I'd bring Malifaux back. It had cards instead of dice, which is a mechanic that I thought was genius, because you could, instead of rolling to like attack and stuff like that, you played cards.
Yeah.
And you had a hand, so you could actually cheat enough. So if you saw what your hand was, you could build up and be like, oh, I'm holding a lot of high cards. I can sort of let things hang because I can cheat them in. And it was good. But there's no community for it here.
I'm trying to think of what else you played. Flames of War.
Flames of War. So I don't play Flames of War, actually. I did try it once or twice. It's a World War II tabletop game. The scale is wrong for me.
Okay.
So there are different scales. 15 mil is like teeny little dudes. That's when you get to like the mass battles. 28 mil is what I like to play, which is more like heroic. Like HeroClix style is a little bigger than 28 mil. But it's in between. And so I find that scale turns me off. That it's, for some reason, like I want my tanks to either be this big or this big. If they're in between.
So doing the same questions, but moving away from battlegrounds. Let's take it to RPGs.
Yes.
Really quickly, 10 out of 10. D&D.
D&D's a classic. I mean, I still play D&D all the time, but 7.5. Yep. Like it's pretty good.
Honestly, it's easy to answer. Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu. I love Call of Cthulhu. I'd give Call of Cthulhu an 8.
Okay. Blades in the Dark.
Blades in the Dark I've never played.
Okay.
And so I couldn't rate that, but I've heard good things. I like that.
One Ring.
One Ring. Never played One Ring.
Apparently, it is a fucking fabulous Lord of the Rings set. It uses the D20 rule set. But apparently, it's super well done. And then Starfinder.
Starfinder, I played Starfinder. Yeah. Because my name is Pathfinder, right? I played Pathfinder and Starfinder. Yeah. It's a little math heavy. Sometimes I'm in the mood for like looking up tables, the role playing game. Yeah. But it's like we refer to table sub A for your damage quotient, and it's like.
But out of 10, Starfinder. What can we tell?
Starfinder.
How many spooks out of 10?
I would actually go down. I think Starfinder's like closer to. I'd rather play Dungeons & Dragons than Starfinder. Yeah. Okay. Because it's unless I'm really in the mood for something crunchy and mathy, but it doesn't happen very often.
Did you ever play Warhammer?
I did play Warhammer.
Okay.
The only problem with Warhammer is that Warhammer has to be the only game that you play, because it updates so frequently.
Oh, okay.
And it's so expensive.
Yeah.
That if you're into Warhammer, you kind of can't really be in anything else. And so I let Warhammer go, because I like other style. I like to go broad.
Which game that you played had the hardest learning curve?
Hardest learning curve? Oh, probably Infinity, because I'm still on the curve.
Okay.
I'm only about 6 or 7 games into Infinity, and I'm still on the curve. It is a lot to carry, and it's a lot to learn, and that's what I'm enjoying about it right now. Is that every time I play, I'm learning something new. I walk away better than when I did before, and I'm getting my head kicked in routinely. And it's like
How is the group of guys getting so ahead of you so quickly then?
They've been playing for years.
Oh, okay.
So I just started, and I'm like, if you move here, you just caught a rocket launcher, and I'm like, that was no. Okay, we make sure that we don't do that next time. But it's good, yeah.
So you start playing these games at 8.
Yeah.
How much money have you spent on tabletop gaming?
I don't know if there's a number to be put out. It is a lot. I'm not cheap about it.
Could you put it down, deposit on a house?
Oh yeah. Lifetime? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Free. I have a thing where I keep a percentage of my net income for hobby money. And so I spend it because it's my hobby money. And so that's the thing is that doesn't. I know some people that really like to. There's some people that really like to do like a dollars per hour measurement when how they enjoy games is by. For me, I'm just like. Listen, the hobby money's there. That's what it's for. It doesn't affect any part of my other budget, and I spend it. Yeah. And so I sometimes.
And probably in the grand scheme of things, it's still a lot cheaper than other like hobbies out there.
Oh yeah, well,
ones that I can call like vehicles and quads and
Yeah, it can get. You can spiral out though.
Yes.
Like, you can get out of control. I've been there multiple times.
What do you mean, Corbin? I don't.
And I blame Kyle for all
every minute of it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's collectible. That's you really got to watch that. That's.
I just sold. I'm out of HeroClix now.
Oh yeah,
I'm out.
Yep.
And I sold my last collection finally.
Oh wow.
For $6,000 American.
That's. You know what? Good for you for getting that up.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
I kept some things that you can see behind you,
like just
but
some,
very few.
Wow.
So speaking of cost,
Yeah.
which game do you regret most for buying?
Oh jeez. Oh, Song of Fire and Ice, the tabletop game. So there was a game that I thought people were going to get really excited about, and it was the Song of Fire and Ice. So based on the novels, not the show. So and
hopefully,
and I bought a bunch of that stuff, and I just got rid of it just a little bit ago because I was like, first of all, no one's going to buy this. There's no community for it. I couldn't get people excited about it. I didn't even like the game that much.
Yeah,
but I got like I was really in the mood for something new, and so I was like, yeah, I'm going to try this, and I got some people hyped up about it, and then we played it a couple of times, and I was like, meh. Just
where are you selling your stuff?
So I typically go either on so I don't really social media anymore. So I typically with people I know. Sometimes up in Calgary, there's a shop called the Ogre's Den that has like a nerd garage sales. So you just go up and rent a table and sell all your stuff there.
Okay, cool.
Or I just let people know online, sometimes I just like my Flames of War I gave away. I gave it to Brent because I had stuff, but I'm like, we always play here anyway. So I'm like, if I ever want to play this game, which I probably won't, I'll be here.
Yeah.
So I kind of donated my army to the community, so the community can just come and play it and try it. Yeah.
And Brent is the community.
Absolutely is.
So. Okay, you've seen my area here.
Yeah.
So talk about your storage solution.
Oh, God. It's awful. It's funny you talk about that because I'm in the middle of redoing it right now because I can't paint right now comfortably because I have stuff just sends to sort of
And by that you mean painting miniatures?
Yeah, painting miniatures. Yeah. Stuff tends to pile up and overflow. So my painting area is also my storage. So it's like this. Imagine if this were sort of like leaning scarily toward you.
And for our listeners who can't see, this in Corbin's house is a lot.
Is a lot. Yeah.
And so
if you take that top half. And it goes all the way to the floor, and it kind of wants to lean and fall over on you.
Probably more than double.
Stalking you.
That's what mine looks like right now. So that's why I'm trying to give some stuff away. I'm going to be selling my Warhammer stuff because it's in cold storage right now. Like I have it all boxed up. And
where can our listeners go to buy your Warhammer stuff?
No, they're not going to. So I just because we have a Discord server for the community. So we have like 80 people on our game Discord server, and that's represented to Brent's Garage is one of the places where we all go. Like I mentioned a third place because I know you guys like to touch on mental health stuff. I really think like people today are missing a third place to go, right? Where you have your home, you have your work, and then you used to go to a bar,
hangout. Your hangout.
Yeah, your hangout. So that's my third place, and Professor Brent and I have talked about that a lot. That to make it specifically a third place for people to go and just be together and share the same air, and it's great. And so, big fan.
Good, because I was going to ask you about that later, but maybe we'll talk about it a little later as well.
Yeah,
go ahead.
What's your so maybe this is leaning too much into the RPG, but
it's fine.
Coach,
RPG good too.
Your entire umbrella of tabletop games.
Yeah.
What was your greatest moment?
Oh, wow. That's a hell of a question.
Yeah. So or either rewarding or whatever, whatever you're walking away from it. Like, what do you...
Oh, that is a deep question. So I've done a couple of things in tabletop where I've felt really good. I'm not much of a tournament guy, but there's been a few times because we always joke that the Lethbridge special is to drive more than 2 hours and go 1 and 2, right? Because you just go and you just like you're like that's the Lethbridge special, right? You get in a car, you drive through, and you go 1 and 2. There was a tournament in Calgary that I made top table, and I had 2 beers instead of lunch, and so I was like, and these were Warhammer guys, and they were dead serious, and I was more than a little bit tipsy, and I was just hanging a beating on these guys. So I was kind of enjoying that. I made top table. I ended up being 3rd, which is not too bad, but I find the whole thing rewarding. Just like I just love to get together. I love to play. I like when people really want to talk about it, really want, like, after I'm done playing, I'm like, oh, what did you do there? Why did you want to do this? Why did you want, like, the after stuff?
The debrief.
The debrief.
Yeah, I also enjoy the debrief after a game.
The debrief is as good at the game because I love every part of it. And so, yeah, I don't really have much in the way of, like, that I got off the top of my head as being like, oh, yeah.
So you never killed Zaztam or
no,
took down the Citadels?
Well, we always, like, especially in Dungeons & Dragons stuff, we always tended to sort of reboot. Although if you think about, like, most fun, like, rewarding campaigns we ever had is we did an Outer Planes campaign. Yeah. And me and my buddy, and this was long before any of the, like, anime stuff went this way, is we played 2 chefs. And so our thing was that we were going to, all throughout the Outer Planes, killing, cooking, and eating things, and we were going to write a Cooking the Outer Planes. Yeah. And so we played those characters. We went to level 15, like from 1 to 15, and that was a long campaign.
Yeah, that's a haul.
And so that was
that's a Netflix series.
Yeah, right. I know.
Cooking in Dungeons?
Delicious in Dungeons.
Delicious in Dungeons.
And it's a fabulous.
It's actually a really good show.
It's actually really good.
It's one of the most accurate Dungeons and Dragons shows out there. Is
more than the movie, which I also enjoyed. But also, like, that was probably the most fun campaign I ever had. Was the two dumb chefs and, like, looking and trying to cook and eat stuff, and we were stuck on, like, in Modrons, and we were trying to cook them up, and they didn't taste very good because they were ordering
metal.
And so it was that was probably the most fun role playing thing I've ever had.
Go.
So give me your top 3 favorite games you've played and why.
Like total ever
out of the thousands that you've played.
Narrow it down.
Narrow it down to 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 1 RPG and probably a couple of board games. The best RPG I think that I ever played that stuck with me the most, it was Shadowrun. I was a big Shadowrun, big Shadowrun guy. Played a lot of Shadowrun all through the 90s. I loved that game, and I still think about it all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'd ever play it again. It's a little clunky, even though they keep trying to change it. It was a product of its time. That 90s cyberpunk aesthetic. I don't think you can go back and recapture that. But that is probably the number 1 game where I'm like, yeah, that was great. For tabletop, I'm going to pick one of each, I think. And then for tabletop games, my favorite tabletop game was probably Guild Ball at the time. Because I really was getting good at it. I really liked it. It was really competitive. I was very into the scene.
You were very into that.
I was very into the scene. Like I said, I played the national champion. Killed me, but at least I was at
you were there.
I was at that level to play that kind of stuff, and so that was probably the good for that. And then board game wise, let's see, that's one of each.
Yeah, sure. I like
it. Board game wise, actually, it's funny enough. Even though I haven't thought it was Battlestar.
Yeah.
Battlestar was just so good, and in fact, that the revamp is tempting me, even though I have no one to play it with. Like that's how much that game still lives in my head. Is that. It was so fun, and I just the kids when they're with their what do you call it, Among Us's. We were Among Using before it was even.
We were being sus long before you kids came along.
We were sus.
We were sus
like
way before.
Analog. We'd be back in the 1900s.
Yeah, analog sus.
Speaking of kids, your son's 16 now.
Yeah, 17 in grade 12.
Oh my goodness!
We got the email. We're like, hey, you have to pay for graduation fees, and I was like,
what's a graduation fee?
He's going to Japan next year.
Oh,
that's his like life plan. He's
going to live?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
So he's going to go for a year to see if he likes it, and then he's going to come home, and then if he likes it, he might go there. That's his thing. Him and a buddy are going to go to Japan next year. So
that's crazy.
So remember what my son looked like when we hung out.
Yep.
And that's where he is now. Spooky.
Is he into any of this stuff?
Not really.
No.
Because kids rebel.
Yeah.
And so we did play for a little bit. He's more of a video gamer.
Yeah.
So he's very much, so he doesn't play the Fortnite. He plays Valorant.
Oh,
and so his...
Competitive.
Yes, and competitively. So his they've got a school team now that they've got, and so. But before that, his group of friends.
Can we just take a moment and realize that high schools now have competitive video game esports leagues? Like,
insanity.
Can you imagine that from back in the day? Like, good
I would have been a banger.
I got suspended for modding Doom onto our computer lab in high school.
Oh wow.
You got suspended.
Yeah. Somebody ratted me out. But I modded it on every computer in the block, which was like 12 computers back then. But
still.
They now have esports leagues.
Him and his buddies, they were in the league that feeds the pay league. So if the league that they were in, if they were in the top 2 of that league, they would graduate to the pay league to pay for play.
Wow.
And so they got like, the closest I think they ever got was 5th. Which I was like, oh, shit, that's not bad. Yeah. So that's more his speed. I've tried to get him into the tabletop stuff. He will humor me by being like, okay, Dad, let's play with your little dudes. But he's like, for him, it's really about, it's talking about like, and shouting at his buddies. Oh my God, all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. We're playing Valorant and we're yelling at each other.
Do you have a question? Because I have more.
Yeah, I've got so many questions.
Go for it.
What we covered off a couple of these already, just naturally, which I love. Would you rather be the GM or the player?
Oh God, as every GM ever, I would rather be the player, but it just doesn't happen. I am the forever GM.
Yeah.
I mean, not always. Like I said, I've played in a couple of Professor Brent's games, which I love when he can.
He is such a fun GM, and that's Game Master for those. Like he runs the game, but
he runs, and so. But normally it's me again because it comes to driving the bus. That if I'm getting excited about something, that means that I'm in the driver's seat and I know it. And then if I start talking stuff up, people will jump on. So like the mothership thing, like when I run my Spooktober games, which I do one-shots of just scary games.
Yeah.
It's me that organizes, it's me that puts it together. So of course I'm running it because if I don't do it, no one's going to do it. Everybody just goes, oh, we sure like to play.
Yeah,
and
it'd be fun.
It'd be fun. Well, and same as this women's game that I'm running right now for Dungeons & Dragons is my wife really wanted a game.
Yeah.
And she couldn't really find one. And then a few other people had said like sometimes you play in mixed company, it's all right, but you're kind of taking a risk because tables can be really good or awful.
Yeah, if you don't lay out proper rules ahead of time, some people can make it fucking sideways.
Like just shitty. And so it sort of prevents people. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to create a game that's only for that's only in that space. And so my eventual hope is that if I run this for a while, I could step away and one of them can take over and then they can just totally have their own thing. Yeah. But it's sometimes I get that itch where I want to create. And so that's, I mean, I'm one of these guys that I really believe that like Dungeons & Dragons, role-playing games in general, is the most purely creative thing you can do. It's just storytelling together with friends, and it is
group storytelling is something once you get into it,
right? And obviously, and exactly the same. Always people say the same thing. Go, oh, is that true? I don't know. Ask Joel Manganiello. To see what he thinks about it, right? Because the same thing as an actor, right? He says the same thing. It's the most creative thing you can do, and so I've always wanted to get into that kind of stuff. I'm big into like the filmmaking stuff. I don't do it, but I just love the art of storytelling, and so that's how I do it. Is through that.
So under that, guys, do you homebrew or do you run pre-made material?
Depends. Typically, if I'm running like homebrew is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so if I'm in the mood to do a lot of work, I'll homebrew. Mostly, I do pre-made and then I change it. I adapt it. So right now, the one that I'm running for the women is Strixhaven, which you were familiar with. It's a Magic the Gathering world. It's Harry Potter University, and I'm running the pre-made campaign out of that ish. In that I'm just like changing some things, I'm removing things I don't like, I'm putting in ideas that I have, but I'm running that off of a world because 70% of the work is already done for me. I just need to sort of glom onto it.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah, if you're not willing to move on to the creative style or say, okay, I'm going to build this from the ground up. Yeah. Which is a lot of work.
And I've done it before, and it's fun. It's just also I work.
Yeah,
right?
We got lives to do.
Right? There's stuff to happen there. So yeah. How about you? Like, so I've heard you're like. So I know this is not me interviewing you, but I've heard you.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my interviewee.
So if I'm going to do it, something. So Tanner, tell me about your. So I think you're probably in the same boat. I saw you nodding along when I said Forever GM, and so is that you or what's this?
I mean, yes. I came in very new and natural to the world, as we talked about before. I started watching it online of these things. I said that looks like fun.
Critical Role.
I started the Ox Venture League is what they're called now, out of Britain. Johnny Cinadini was the first DM I kind of watched. I said, oh, that's cool. And then I went to the Adventure Leagues.
Oh,
I just went to the open house,
the open houses,
comic book stores because I didn't know where to.
That's always so. If you don't know, the Adventure Leagues is either one or two things. It's either like wide-eyed babes like Tanner who are stumbling into the woods, or people who cannot find a regular game, because they've been all kicked out of their other,
and they're all fucking insane,
right? Because they're
or 12-year-olds, their parents dropped off to have free babysitting for 4 hours,
right? Yeah. And so Adventurers League is like you're in the slums, like you're in the back alleys, Dungeons and Dragons. When you're there.
Totally, and you're in the back of this old building, like it. Yeah. It's a lot when you get in there, but thankfully, and I talked about this when we had Brent on the show, Brent was my first DM.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And it probably could have been very different for me, a very different role. But Brent was my first DM, and I sat there, and everyone around the table was a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm sitting around like, look at these fucking people. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, but then Brent starts talking, and the table became quiet. And I had my first experience from arguably a professional game master, as we talked about Brent. Yeah. But that experience, what I asked Corbin earlier, to that shared storytelling,
so good.
Yeah, just immediately flicked the switch.
You're like, this
and
is
I was
for
like,
me.
this is amazing. Yeah. And then I consumed. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm never going back to eventually because that's fucking insane.
Right? Because I'm knife fighting in an alley. Like,
I'm not doing that. And I was like, but I'm going to force my friends into this,
right?
And then do it myself. So that has turned into 4 games running now, I think, with different groups, and
so good.
2 of which, or one of which I'm a player, and the other one's IGM. I honestly, I really enjoy being a player, because I like leaning more to the chaotic side of things, because then you can just fuck around with someone's game. But I'm maybe this speaks to more of my control issue, but I'm more. I'd like to GM.
You like to run it.
I like to run it. I know the rules. I'm a big fan of the rules. Cool. So I want people to have a fun game.
Yeah.
And I get entertainment out of watching them have that fun game. So as much as I like being a player, I tend to. Like more toward being
that's the thing. I'm having fun when everyone's having fun, which led me to be a DM.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just want to make one person, right? And I want
to take this from 0 to 60.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I want to inhabit all of that and everything they do. And so, and it's funny. Sometimes I'll do the same thing when I'm making a character. I'll like be driving and I'll think about the way they talk, or I'll think about like my wife said, she goes, "How do you come up with this stuff?" I'm like, I have a busy mind, and so like it's always on something, and so I have to point it at something not destructive or more creative. And so sometimes if I'm making a halfling monk who's a fighter who's like basically Goku and just like a goof, I'm like, how do they fight? How do they move? How do they talk? What do they want? Like I'm just always letting it go.
Where did they learn it? How did they learn it?
Right. Who's their master? What do they do? And so that stuff, and then it just all falls out of me.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna it's a personal story.
Story. Okay, story time.
It's not really big.
Oh, okay. Not story time.
So
make it spooky.
You're like, I changed position and everything.
As we've talked about, I barely beat Kyle ever at anything. Okay, but I did squeeze out a store championship in X-Wing.
Oh, you sure did.
In 2015 or 16. Okay. And I won that tournament, and he was in that tournament. But I never played him in the tournament.
No.
But I distinctly remember the night before we got together at my place, and we played.
That's right.
A test match.
Yeah,
and you wiped the floor with me. Do you remember what you played? I was playing. I built a team around the Hawk, the HWK ship, and I'm like, I want to make this.
Was it the Scoundrels? Because you were a Scoundrels player, right?
They didn't exist back then.
Okay.
That back when it was pure and good.
Yeah, pure and good. But I was playing the Rebel Alliance, and I played the Hawk because it was widely considered the worst ship in the Rebel Alliance.
Right.
And so I'm like, that's
why you wanted to play it.
I want to build the team around that.
So at the time, I was probably either playing B-Wings or I was playing. I was either playing B-Wings or I was playing TIE Advanced.
Yeah.
Or the Defenders. Sorry, TIE Defenders. Because the Defenders could do the
four
turn,
flip
the four flip for free. Yeah,
that's true.
Which was just that's real. Yeah.
We had a Star Wars game on a few episodes before.
Oh yeah.
With Corbin walking me through how to play.
Yeah.
Well, it's all different now, apparently.
They got to version 2.
Yeah, I've heard I haven't really thought about going back to it, but it's it was good. So the funny story about I still an X-Wing. We went to Attack X once, which is a tournament in Kamloops. So we drove all the way to Kamloops to play.
Yeah.
And we played Guild Ball, actually. I was briefly national champion for Guild Ball because it didn't count.
For an hour until someone...
But before, it was the first Guild Ball tournament in Canada, and I won.
Oh.
So before anybody even
national
knew what
champion,
it was.
that counts.
That's right, that counts.
It's on CV.
But the X-Wing tournament there had the best trophies that I'd ever seen.
Oh, really?
Because they had obviously ordered them off of probably Wish or something like that. So they had most points, most kills, And you would think the one would be best sportsman. Nope. 3 words. Most sports man. was the tournament. And so ever since then, I was like, that is the best trophy I've ever seen. So
I am the most sportsman.
I am the most sportsman. And so that I was like, I don't know what website they got their trophies off of, but that has stuck with me for years. Is that so? Next time we ever try and run a tournament again, I think we're going to do most sportsman. And I also want to do most painted, not best painted.
Yeah, most painted.
Most painted. Yeah.
Look at the layers on this.
Yeah, most you win most painted.
Oh man, painting though, like it's a commitment.
I don't have it in me.
I got that whole thing, that black basket up there. Yep. That's all paint, and I've yet to gone back.
I have a secret for painting, because the same thing. My problem with painting is it never looks as good when it comes out of my brain and onto the model. It always looks terrible, and I have a real struggle with that. So there is a secret shortcut called slap chop, and that is the method to do painting. And when you're done, you go, that looks pretty good. And I spent like 10 minutes on it. It's fast, it's quick, it's a way to like rapidly paint your models.
Yeah. Okay, really quickly, tell me how slap chop works.
So how slap chop works is you paint it black, spray paint it black, you dry brush gray over it, but just lightly so that all of the parts that are deep are black.
Yep.
Then you dry brush white very, very lightly over it. And then you use these new contrast paints, which are like made to not necessarily need to be highlighted or shaded. And you put that over top and they look fine. Pretty... Ooh. I thought I was being
stopped. Like a Jason Voorhees ringtone.
That's the Halloween theme.
That's the Halloween. So they look fine in like 10 minutes. And so I'm doing my entire armies with this method, because most of the time it takes me a lot to get going to painting, because I know they never look as good as I want them to. But with this, I'm like, for 10 minutes, those look great. And so that's my compromise for painting.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah. What else we got here? Go ahead.
No, please. Mine's kind of like the last.
The outro.
The last interview question. So go ahead.
Because we got to get to our game
best
too.
Is best.
Yeah.
So really quickly then.
Yeah, please.
What are you going for as Halloween?
This year, nothing. The sort of day, I love Halloween, but the days of me like going to parties or dressing up are sort of, Peter, we're probably gonna hide in the basement with our lights off and watch Netflix.
That's a sad, spooky answer.
That is it's not very scary, but it's not. Yeah, my days of doing that are kind of done.
All right, Corbin.
What's the outro?
So the last question I want to ask you about tabletop gaming is which games are you looking forward to?
So the new version of Bolt Action just dropped. I said played the first one of that. It's a 28 mil World War II. I played the Americans. It's pretty good. So I just played the first game against Brent last night. Was looking forward to that for a few months. It was great. I like the new updates. Everything's good. New version of Infinity drops in November, N5, and so I'm really looking forward to that, because that's got a good aesthetic. The models are fun. The game is really hard. I'm still learning it. I'm in a good place for that. And when the new one drops, I'm probably going to spend a little bit of time tabletop-wise doing that.
That's awesome.
Cool. Very cool.
That's awesome. I think we learned a lot here.
I'm glad. How do you feel?
I'm good.
Next question.
I was like,
more?
I got 2 more hours. I could unload this stuff forever.
We do not, but we do have a game.
Okay.
That we play.
We like to do a game.
Clearly, I like games. So.
Yes, and we have one. It's more theater of the mind, and it's one of our returning champions game called Best is Best.
Best is Best.
And this is going to be a tournament-style bracket in which I give you a head-to-head competition, and you two, gentlemen, have to decide who comes out on top.
This game sounds familiar. I believe we played versions of this for hours and hours.
We've done this before.
This one, I have decided, because it's spooky.
Ooh.
I have made a list of 16 of the
Sweet 16
the most frightening and scary horror monsters throughout time, and we've bracketed them together, and you have to tell me who would win in a fight.
So they're just fighting?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm serious about this.
Like, it can be fighting. It can be maybe they fight by being super scary.
Okay.
Right. You got to be talk it out. Okay. Get the feel for it. All right. Bracket number one. I have Pennywise versus Pinhead.
Oh wow!
Oh, it's a tough matchup off.
They're all tough matchups.
That's a tough one.
They're all tough matchups. Not gonna lie.
One is like the ruler of an underworld or another dimension.
Yep.
The
thing is, so my first instinct is to give it to Pennywise, and here's why.
Yeah.
Pinhead only comes and gets you if you invite him.
Yes,
if you mess with the box,
you've opened the box.
If you've transgressed,
Yeah.
you could just be from a town And Pennywise is going to get you, right? That is if you're just hanging around being an 80s kid, he's going to get you. Pinhead, you have
to summon him.
Right. And so if you're from Podunk nowhere, or Derry, he's not going to bother you.
No, but every 27 years, the clown Pennywise will.
So Pennywise versus Pinhead, we're giving it to Pennywise.
Yeah, Pennywise.
I would say let's go to Pennywise.
I agree with that.
Okay, Pennywise, take it. Bracket number 2, we have Candyman
Yeah.
versus Ghostface.
Oh, Ghostface. Okay, I'm giving it to Candyman.
Oh.
And the reason why is Ghostface has died 7 times already.
Well, he's coming back,
more
though.
than 7 times.
Yeah.
There's been more than 7.
Well, and most of the times he's just like, you're like, oh, it's your 2 loser friends. You're
yeah,
like, great, thanks.
it's like, oh, you're just some dude who's really angry about some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay, what about Kyle?
No, I agree with that. Ghostface is
Candyman?
Yeah, even though you can't. Same thing with Candyman as Pinhead. You can't find him until you summon him.
Yep.
But like I said, Ghostface is iconic, but not that tough of a.
He keeps falling down over stuff. He keeps tripping all
you
the
can like
time.
jump over the couch and he'll trip and fall down.
Fall down. You can run away.
Yeah, fair enough. Next brackets, we have Annabelle versus Chucky.
Oh, yeah. No, for me. For me, it's Annabelle.
Yeah, because I
Really?
know you've got a soft spot for this for that stuff.
But Chucky would just stab the shit out of her.
Guys, listen. I read a book called The Demonologist. I told you
you
about
did.
this.
Yeah.
And
Even I know about
that
this.
story scares the shit out of me every time.
I'm letting Annabelle have this because I know that's a particular Corbin.
So we're going
thing.
to Annabelle.
Yeah, listen.
Annabelle beat Chucky. Okay, okay. I did not think it was another way.
because she's real. Okay.
I was going to say Chucky's from a movie. Annabelle is from real life.
Obviously.
Yeah.
This one I'm interested in. Yeah, how you guys are going to go? The Xenomorph versus the Thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the Thing is scarier to me again because of the could be anything. Now, granted, the Xenomorph is sneaky, and it can bleed on you. But the idea of that, your pets, your family members,
perfect organism.
is the perfect organism. It
Yeah.
and it does the same kind of. It eats you. Now, on the other hand, it doesn't lay its eggs in you.
Yeah,
which
it
is
becomes you.
But technically, the Xenomorph doesn't lay the eggs in you either.
No, that's true.
It's the facehugger.
It's the facehugger that does that.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Thing.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Thing is
Got the Thing.
There's more to the Thing.
Yeah, there's more stuff there.
There's more stuff there.
Okay. Next bracket, we have Annie Wilkes versus Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, yeah, no, Hannibal Lecter for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
What if she gets Hannibal alone in a hotel room?
He'll eat her.
Yeah, I figure he eats her liver.
And, and eats well.
Yeah, that's right. I think that I agree. Yeah, I don't think that's much of a matchup. I think
Yeah, no, because he's way smarter than Annie Wilkes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's ready. He's
right.
down for dinner anytime.
Yeah.
Okay. These last three I'm interested in what you guys are going to choose. Next bracket is Dracula versus Freddy Krueger.
Oh. I know what mine is. You go ahead.
I almost want to say Freddy Krueger because he lives in your dreams.
Yeah. Everybody sleeps.
Everybody sleeps, right? Dracula, you hang garlic around and or you don't invite him in and he's like, darn it.
And the idea that,
like I almost had you, but
Good night, come in. No, don't.
and the idea that you are not safe when you're sleeping is terrifying.
God, what a horror premise.
Yeah,
like
really good
yeah. No,
Okay.
Freddy Krueger.
Okay. Next bracket we have Jason Voorhees versus the Creeper.
Like the Jeeper Creeper?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not as familiar with the Jeeper Creeper, so you might have to take this one. You might have to field this guy.
He kills a bunch of people, takes their body parts,
Takes their body parts, and he has to basically take their body parts and then put them on his body to survive.
Oh, okay.
keep more.
Keep living longer.
The thing with Jason
but
is
a violent prick, though.
There's enough Jason, but Jason's like evolved, right? So you're talking about like big, giant, unkillable Jason, or like regular dude in a mask Jason?
I mean, somewhere in the middle. I would probably say like he can't. Yeah, not Jason X.
Not Jason
Like,
from space. No.
yeah.
Where he had nanites. I think he had nanites, didn't he?
Of course, yeah, sure. Of course, he had space nanites. So sure, of course he did.
Such a good movie. I'm going to go Jason because he always comes back.
Yeah.
Creeper does too, but he's also one of those guys that's been gone for like 30 years and then comes back. So you got like 30 free years to live your life.
Plus, he's probably never been to space.
But again,
he's never been
it's
to
also
space.
Jason versus the Creeper.
Yeah.
So do we say Jason?
Yeah, Jason.
All right. In our last bracket of the first round, we have Michael Myers versus Norman Bates.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's not even debatable.
Okay. Well,
I don't think it is.
Well, I don't
anyway.
think so because if you're not in his hotel, he's not bothering you.
Although, yeah, he's like,
if you're not renting a room, you're
Right,
fine.
you're fine.
yeah, I'm not going to stay here. You're good.
Okay, bye. Right.
All right. In the quarterfinals,
Yeah.
we have Pennywise the Clown
This is where it's going to get weird.
versus Candyman.
I still kind of think Pennywise.
I think still Pennywise still takes
Yeah.
it. There's just he's just scarier. He's
Yeah,
stronger.
same arguments from the last
Same
round.
with the, I think he just
Annabelle versus The Thing.
Oh wow, what a difference! So a ghost versus an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A demon.
Yeah, a demon versus an alien.
Yeah, I guess that's
The signs all over again.
Here's my thought on it.
Go ahead. I'm interested in this because I also have
The
but-
alien can be killed.
that is a good point.
What if the doll is all...
Because the thing is the only difference that I would say you're right, but the doll is more passive.
Yeah.
Right, whereas the thing wants you, like it's after.
Yeah,
you,
that's
right?
true. Yeah. Good
And
point.
so, but that to me would be why I think it was stronger. But I mean, also if they were fighting, I don't think
he ripped
that
the
sort of
doll
falls
to shreds.
apart.
Yeah. I'll give it to the thing.
Yeah, that was tight because your point about it being unkillable is a little tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Next, we have Hannibal Lecter versus Freddy Krueger.
Oh, poor Hannibal Lecter. He needs to sleep.
Yeah.
So I think like he's well and good until he lays down.
But counterpoint is Hannibal Lecter, whom is a doctor, smart enough to come up with
like the Dream Warriors.
could if high
Well,
school
he's a psychiatrist.
yes if
Could-
high
could he
school
medicate
students
himself?
could do it, could Hannibal Lecter metagame a point where he deals with Freddy Krueger?
He can medicate himself to not dream.
Yeah, he could do a lot.
He could do a lot. That is
You give him a week and
But-
some funding, and he could do a lot of
But
things.
the premise is that they're fighting,
Yeah.
No, yeah.
and I
Yeah,
still
head-to-head.
think Freddy Krueger can win.
I think so too. That's because I think, especially with like, okay, we're fighting. He's like, okay, I need to come up with a plan. Oops, I had a nap and now I'm dead.
My damn nap plans. Take so many nap plans I got to do. Okay, Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers.
Michael Myers for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's less campy. He's more. He's like the serious version of Jason.
That is a good point.
Okay, Jason's not serious. He dabbles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and
Like Michael Myers is all business.
right, and I think if they went to fight, you're right. He'd be like Jason, would be like, I'm big and scary, and I was like, I'll just kill you.
Yeah.
like I
Like,
just
Michael would
like I'm
just-
just not impressed.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with you, and he's taking him out.
So do you agree? Kyle?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I originally thought Jason because he's a little bit bigger, a little bit more, yeah. But again, he's not nanite Jason, so I'm not that.
And we're not talking about like H2O Jason, who's like 5'10".
Yeah.
I'm talking like, or Michael Myers, sorry,
Yeah.
who's like 5'10". I'm talking like
like the
The
big
original 7 foot.
the
yeah,
original
like
guy.
standing. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one.
He's like a monster.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
Now for the semifinals.
The weird brackets.
Yeah.
We have Pennywise the Clown
Yeah.
versus The Thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good
Yeah.
one.
This is all you're doing.
Yeah, this is all hard.
Who's going to win in a fight?
Right?
You know what? I'm going to say
The thing is, though,
The thing is, though,
I guess it comes down to how much do you believe that Pennywise can alter reality? Well, wait a minute.
Okay.
Though at the end of the day, he's given the fact it's a Stephen King monster. He's just a spider monster.
Well, it goes even farther than that.
Yeah.
Here's why the thing would win.
Yeah.
Because Pennywise preys on your fears.
Right.
And what fear does the thing monster have?
Right. It's
Flamethrowers.
alien. Well, yeah,
flamethrowers.
But you know what I mean? Like,
it's not fooled by psychological tricks.
Yes.
And it's not trick. And again, if it comes down to a straight fight, it's a spider monster versus something that could be anything.
yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, I think I give it to the thing. Yeah.
The thing.
Oh, The Thing.
The Thing.
Okay.
The thing is up there.
Wow. All right. And our last semifinals, Freddy Krueger versus Michael Myers.
Does Michael Myers sleep? I don't know if he does.
He just waits.
I know what I like more, but
Yeah, but this isn't a like.
yeah, but it's not a like though. Listen, Michael Myers has got to sleep. That's just the way. That's just the fact of
At
it.
the end of the day, he's a man.
Yeah,
Right. I guess that's.
yeah.
Now, which is going to make for an interesting final.
Which takes us down to the final, which is The Thing versus Freddy Krueger.
I don't know if they would ever interact
Ever.
because the thing I don't.
In this world, they're forced to.
So
Because Freddy's preying on fear as well.
Right, in your dreams.
In your dreams.
And if you're an alien monster, I'm not sure that you care.
He's psychological warfare a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Because he doesn't just kill you. You don't just fall asleep and he kills you.
Bitch.
You fall asleep and you happen to be at the pool and then he has a part of a pool monster or whatever. Or like part 5 where he's really into comics. So he dreams he's in a comic book and then Super Freddy comes and kills him. So, I'm going to go with the Thing on this.
I think so too, because of that reason. Like I said, it's I think Freddy goes to go into the Thing's dreams. He's like, "What in the hell is this?
Yeah,
I don't even have anything to do here.
Yeah, this is boring.
It's all alien weirdness." And
so you heard it here first.
Yes.
The best killer monster in a VV match is the Thing.
The Thing.
they can be anything.
Good job. Well done, guys.
GG, man.
The Thing.
GG, The Thing.
Let's review some homework, Corbin.
Yeah. So last week the homework was I was going to watch a Neeb's gaming channel video.
An episode, yeah.
Episode. You sent me the episode.
I did.
And it was the video game they were playing was Operation Zero. And
Generation Zero.
Generation Zero?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was Operation Zero for some reason.
Yeah.
Really really boring fucking game.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I would die playing that game.
Yeah, you got to play with people. It's not a good alone game.
First off, not all 4 guys. 3 out of the 4 guys were really, really funny.
Yeah.
One guy, Neeb, is actually the least funny guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor Neeb. Poor Neebs.
Yeah. And then I guess the challenge was that I was going to tell you what these guys look like.
I want you to. So I want this came up because we were saying you hear voices, whether games, whatever, and you build what they look like in your mind naturally, right? But how often you're wrong, and it's kind of a funny thing. So I wanted you to describe for me one at a time what these people look like. I have their pictures here, and maybe we'll put them out here so you guys can see here in a minute.
Okay.
Let's start with Apsro.
Okay, Apsro, he is a neck beard, a very large neck beard.
Okay.
Okay, I think he has long hair.
Okay.
By the way, he's my favorite one, I think.
I love Apsro too.
He's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And him and Dora are my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so so I think I think both of them actually. Him and Dora are both large neck beards with maybe possibly long hair.
So the
I'm gonna say one has long hair, one doesn't have long hair.
Okay.
Dora's short.
Okay.
Apsro long hair.
Do you want to see what they look like every time?
Only if you don't spoil the other ones.
No, I don't.
Okay.
So that is Apsro.
Oh, fuck.
His name is John.
I was way off on that.
Yeah, you were way off on that.
Okay, I was way off on that.
He looks a bit like...
he's really funny.
He looks like what's his name? No, I've never watched this, but I've heard about it and I was going to look it up. And he looks a bit like Seth...
MacFarlane.
MacFarlane? Yeah.
I was way off.
Yeah,
on
like
that.
we have average sized dude, just an average white dude. Honestly, he's not big. He's not kind of thing. Okay, Apsro. Next, I have Simon.
Yeah, and I think he actually looks like that guy. That's who I pick for Simon.
Okay.
I pick him to be
You picked it.
like just
generic white guy number 4.
Generic white guy number 4, short hair, no beard, no facial hair.
Okay.
Possibly a little built. Not built, but more muscular than not.
He hurt the muscles when he was listening.
Age?
35 maybe.
Okay. He's actually the oldest of the group.
Oh, okay.
He's 50-something.
Really?
From New York. Shorter guy, bald, beard, white guy. Not heavy built, but...
I was way off.
Yeah.
I'm not doing very good.
Yeah, well, that's point of the game. It's always a little off. That's Simon. Next, we will go to Dora.
Okay, yeah.
Or
definitely
Doraleous.
neck beard.
Yeah.
He has the short hair.
Yeah.
Glasses.
Okay.
Wears a lot of flannel for some reason.
Oh, this is your classic. This is your classic guy.
The
Classic guy.
Classic neck beard.
Okay, ready?
No fucking way.
Dora is a Marine, or was a Marine.
Oh.
So he does have short hair. But he's a pretty
that right.
dark hair, dark features, kind of has that Greek look to him.
Yeah.
Pretty well built dude. Yeah.
Okay, I'm over so far.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
the last
Dora.
guy.
And tell me about Neebs.
Neebs.
Yeah.
This is what I picture with Neebs.
Okay.
Tall.
Yeah.
Super thin.
Okay.
Like super thin face.
Okay.
Not maybe some medium long hair.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like 35 again. White.
Yeah.
Definitely white.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like the thin man.
What do you think? What do you think of his voice?
It's squirrely, man.
It's a squirrely.
Yeah.
Carolina voice.
Glasses maybe on this guy.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let's see.
Oh,
That's
this
Neebs.
is the closest I've been.
You were close to this one.
Basically, yeah, he does have that. He does have that.
He's
sort of
a
gaunt.
tall, kind of gaunt featured dude.
It's
But
Yep.
yeah,
it's his
pretty,
channel, and he's the least entertaining one.
The
on
least
this
fun
channel.
guy.
you got to watch it around. Some episodes, other ones highlight the other ones, but
Well, I was looking into I started looking at their videos, and I'm like, okay, play a game that I like.
They like survival games because they do a lot. They build them into episodes of a show almost. So it kind of depends. But they do one because they all started like as either actors or animators, and so they did it in Among Us series. It's a supercut of like 2.5 hours where they'll play. But then when they hit the button and they all have the accusations, they animated it. As a little. So they're voicing and they're playing the game and they're just screaming at each other. It's hilarious.
Very entertaining channel though.
It's a very entertaining channel.
Check it out.
Neebs Gaming.
Neebs Gaming. It's never really what you think, is it? For how they look. No. And I asked my audience or our audience, what is my audience? What does Corbin and Tanner look like? Oh. I maybe we're both fat neckbeards.
Well,
but maybe
with ponytails and like
just keep that.
God, I would give my left eye for a ponytail right now.
Although I would also say that I think all 9 people that listen to this know what we look like.
It's just not good. Yeah.
What's that? Sorry.
I think all 8 people that listen to this know what we look like.
Yeah.
They're like, listen, we're all your friends. We know
I'm
you
looking at a picture right now. Any homework for me?
I have something that's very thematic for this episode, but it will take time. It will not be done by the next episode.
Try me.
Okay, I was going to tell you because I know you love Star Wars so much.
I do.
We're talking about the stuff. I was going to sit you down for a game of X-Wing.
I think that's doable.
Yeah.
So is that not doable?
That's doable.
I think it's doable. Okay. And what do you want me to get out of this for homework?
Nothing. I just want you to tell me what you think about it.
Okay. Yeah. Give it a update.
Yeah. Give us a
blind coming in.
So if you guys are, because I know YouTube Premium, I heard was your guys' like big thing because you guys are big YouTube guys.
Yeah.
Can I give you something to watch?
Yeah.
If you've never watched, have you ever heard of the Corridor Crew?
Corridor Crew.
If you're into filmmaking at all, as a sort of an art, as its own sort of science, they are a special effects house.
Yes, you told me about this.
Is this the guys that do the review special effects on movies? Is that the same crew?
That's the bulk of them, but they also do their own short films. They do special effects for movies. If you're ever even remotely interested in sort of the art and science behind filmmaking, they are great to watch.
Okay.
They did a whole thing on The Flash, and I actually thought of you, the Flash movie. And they bagged on it so hard that they had one of the VFX. Like, I Patreon these guys. This is how much I actually give them money. That they had one of those VFX artists actually come onto their podcast, because they have a podcast too, and talk about why the VFX ended up in the way the Flash and the way they did.
Yeah.
And totally it all comes down to, here's a spoiler, time.
Yeah.
So whereas like he said, I was working on that and Aquaman and like like a Superman early projects, and so like somebody says it goes great. Here's the shot. You have 5 hours, and he's like, ugh. And so you just get as good as you get in that time frame.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's they do a lot of deep dives into the industry and stuff like that. I think it's fabulous.
Cool.
So it's worth your time. If you guys are YouTube guys and you're looking for something to do, then do that.
God, I love my YouTube.
Kyle, you have been such a spooky guest for us to be here.
I know you had to like look at me the whole time.
It's been so spooky for you having be here with us.
It's been fun. Thank you guys. I
really appreciate that. Corbin, how spooked were you this episode?
Oh, so spooked. 10 out of 10.
10?
I had to stand up for part of it because I was so scared.
Create physical distance. That's right. I gotta get away from this for a minute.
Kyle, I know you said you're a little off social media. Is there any place people can find you if they want to talk about tabletop games or if they want to get into gaming with you?
Unfortunately, not really. No, I bounced social media probably 5 or 6 years ago. I purged it out of my life, and so I'm not really around.
I'm in the process of doing that as well.
Our social media coordinator is in the process.
It's just the process of like divesting. Yeah. I still read it, but I don't post. I just read stuff on there because I use it as an RSS reader more than anything else. So, I mean, if you're interested, talk to Corbin. They'll put you in touch with me.
Let us know. We'll get you in touch with him if you want to go play these games. And if they wanted to get in touch with us, Corbin, where could they spookily do that?
Oh, they can do it on YouTube. They can watch our podcast. You can get a hold of us at Apathy Podcast on Twitter and Radical Apathy Podcast on Facebook.
That's where we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then all your podcast.
Spotify's and Apple's.
I listen on Spotify.
Yeah, it's all on there.
It's all on there.
Come on and do it. Corbin, how you doing? You good?
I'm good, man.
Okay. Well, everybody remember, that's our Spooktoberly filled episode. And just keep asking yourself, why does it matter?
Why does it matter? Nobody cares.
Oh, it matters. Okay. Love you. Bye.